I've got a good girl film.
What's that?
Knuckle deep in Tuna Town.
Ugh.
You guys remember Fish Police?
A little bit. A really little bit.
I remember Sharky and George Crime Busters of the Sea. Is that what you're talking about, or not?
No,
I don't know what that is. I remember Fish Police a tiny bit.
Fish Police was a fucking TV show. It was actually
cartoon show.
Yeah, it was about Fish Police, and it sounds like something I would fucking like. Like if I showed up late to work and they were like, "Why are you late?" and I was like, "Oh man, Fish Police." You know, it sounds like an excuse that a drunk person would make for something.
I remember that being on around the same time as Cops, the cartoon about a bionic cop and his friends who are police cops.
I think Fish Police was an attempt at a primetime cartoon. I remember seeing it around this time. It's like TGIF.
I think it was post-Simpsons. It was in that, They were all thinking like, oh, we can just make a cartoon show. But
they were like, what's not relatable about fish cops?
I still feel like you're just making all of this up.
It comes from that era where you could just like take one thing and put it next to another thing in a sentence, and then you've got a show.
From Mars.
Biker Mice from Mars is another one. You get bikers and you get mice. Put them together. Hell, they're going to come from Mars.
If you combined Fish Police and Street Sharks, it would be like probably about as bad as both of those two things.
Street Sharks was amazing. I had one of the toys and then it went missing. True story.
Yeah, that's a good story. That's about everyone's story. That's like a universal story. I think everyone's had.
All my toys are gone, Jonathan. It's sad.
All your toys are gone?
All my toys.
They sent you new toys to review.
Yeah, got toys.
You just got Skylander toys, you ass.
Where are you, Mantis alien? Sorry. I'm in such a mood today. I've been having to play. I've been playing Ratchet and Clank all for one since 8 a.m. this morning. It is now 3:45 p.m. It hasn't ended. It should have ended about 4 hours ago. I wish it would. It's not a very good game. All I want to do is play Payday the Heist, but I got to do this first because I'm responsible, even though I apparently am not. But fuck it, I'm not happy.
Who said you weren't responsible, Jim? You're very responsible.
Everyone. The world.
Everyone.
The world.
I've said a lot of things about you, most of them nice, and I have never said anything.
That's not true. That is not true, because when at E3 once in a bar, right, at a party, you were there, and I was there, and then you went to the gentleman's lavatory, because you said, I've got to get my little dinkus out and sprinkle it all over the floor. Right? That's what I said. Yeah, that's what you said, I'm gonna get out my meaty beavis. That is what you said. And you went in there, right? And you went into the stall to sit down and pee because it is more intimate and comfortable. And I went in there just to wash my hands, because I don't piss, because I'm not dirty like you. Right, just to wash my hands, and then you left the cubicle. Didn't even wash
because I peed.
Didn't even wash your hands after peeing and wiping your bum because you were filthy. You just went out and handled food, right?
I didn't even poop. I just wiped my butt just to clean it.
It was a bit itchy. It was a bit itchy.
Wait,
right? So you wiped your bum with some toilet paper, didn't even wash your hands, went out and went back to serving food. And then
I was working the party.
That's disgusting.
You were the guest of honor and the waiter. And I went into...
Does it have to do with me saying something about you, does it?
I went to the cubicle after you, Jonathan Holmes, while you were back out there serving sausage rolls. And...
Holmes, why'd you have to do this? I'm eating. I'm trying to eat right now. Why did you have to do this?
I'm sorry,
I'm
Max.
sorry.
I feel responsible bringing it up.
No. It needed to come up. It needed to come up. I'm just mad at Holmes for doing it in the first place.
I tell you what, I had a delicious soy butter sandwich before we recorded, and that's going to come up and all when I am sick into my hands and on my lap and balls, making my balls hot, right? Because I was thinking about dirty Holmes handing out canapes with smelly poo hands. Right? Anyway, I went into the cubicle asking you not to sniff the seats before you think I was. And
No.
don't ever do that when I am sharing hotel rooms with you during E3. Right? I went in there and written on the inside of the toilet cubicle door, you had written, Jim Sterling is not responsible.
That was a really long story. Just to get to that one point.
It was full of twists and turns, though.
It was.
And something about ourselves along the way. It was a very much the Shaggy Dog story. Except in this case, the shag was shit and the dog was Holmes. It was a
The
shitty
shitty Holmes
story. Dirty and stinky and full of little, almondy bits.
Yeah.
Oh, poop description. No. No.
God damn it.
So anyway, this is what happens when I play Ratchet.
I'm eating chicken vindaloo right now. What's wrong with you?
Oh, that's a real poop maker.
That's a terrible poop. Well, yeah.
I mean, in a way. That's true, but you'll poop in a way now. That
but what are you going to eat? That would be scary if you, were eating something and someone was like, oh, that's going to make you poop later. And they were like, no, it isn't. What would that food be?
Foam? Like a
celery?
Would
if you just ate celery all day, would you do celery poop? Or would you just kind of piss out your ass, I reckon?
Yeah.
Celery's really stringy, though, so...
So you'd be like Spider-Man shooting webs out of your hole.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, that'd be brilliant. If Spider-Man was swinging around New York, hanging from his ass, just scooting around, these legs and arms just flailing around behind him, I'd watch more Spider-Man cartoons.
I actually watched I watched the new Spider-Man cartoon the other night.
Which one's that? There's an anime one and
Spectacular Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, is that still on?
It's on Netflix. It's kind of funny because I thought it was going to be really terrible, and it was actually kind of cute.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Spider-Man has a great little throwback. He's got the spider signal on his belt.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, he just he shows up, and the Sandman hasn't turned into sand yet, but he's just there in his very, very festive striped shirt. He's robbing a bank, and Spider-Man just shows up, and he's like, "Hey guys!" and just shines this light on them that's shaped like the Spider-Man logo, and they're like, "What's that light?" And then it shows a sort of a wide shot, like, "Oh, it's Spider-Man." No fucking kidding.
Because he's already dressed as Spider-Man.
Who could be shining spider lights at us? Batman? Fuck! Run.
Yeah, that'd be kind of a cool thing to do if you were a superhero. If you had the light signal of a different superhero that you'd shine randomly on them, and they'd oh fuck, Batman's here, and you're like, motherfuckers, I'm the Green Lantern, woo! But then you showed up and you were actually dressed like Hawkman, and they'd be like, what is going on here?
So it's Green Lantern dressed as Hawkman with the bat signal.
But yeah, and everyone thinks it's Batman, and they're like, what? How? Get out of town!
Time for nerd talk without jokes.
Underneath
nerd
you wear a Power Girls outfit.
They did that not that long ago, maybe 10 years ago.
Welcome to Podtoid, by the way.
Yeah, welcome to Podtoid, everyone.
15 minutes in.
Fuck 'em.
Just thought I'd say hello. Actually, it might not be that. Who knows? Anyway, I'm Jim Sterling, and I'm here with Max Scoville.
Yep.
And Tara Long.
Hi.
Jonathan Holmes.
Oh, hi.
Dirty alligator. Jonathan Holmes. You are the sexual alligator. Sir.
Not even sexual Tyrannosaurus, like Jesse Ventura said in that one movie.
I think alligator is more, because I'm lower to the ground and
stand directly in front of you. You can't see us,
and you can actually.
If we hold your mouth shut, it won't ever open.
And birds pick dirt off your back.
Yeah.
Or am I thinking of hippopotamuses?
I think it was both. birds. Yeah,
I called
birds.
Hamza hippopotamus, and then immediately realized that that's like the worst possible nickname for Hamza.
Because he's
like,
nothing like hippopotamus. He's grouchy.
He's nothing like a hippopotamus.
I think it serves a better purpose to just call him Dickhead.
Dickhead.
Just Dickhead. Get your dick's head over here.
I had an idea that I don't know if I've ever... stop me if I've told this one before, because I seriously forget what the fuck we talk about on this show sometimes.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I had an idea for a superhero. And she's called the Mystery Lady. Okay?
You haven't told us about this, no.
Okay.
This is new. New content.
Okay.
Very good.
All new original content. Welcome to a Maximum original radio movie. So the Mystery Lady, like the Billy Ocean song, Mystery Lady's a crime fightress. She goes out in the night and beats up crooks. Except, and everyone's like, oh yeah, she's a lady. She's actually a man. She's a cross-dressing superhero.
You're turning you just turned my sort of conception on its head, mate.
Okay.
I don't know.
Everyone assumes that it's like this one. I don't know, this one stupid lady. She's like the female head of the police department or something, and everyone's like, Inspector Franklin, are you the Mystery Lady? And she's like, no, I'm not. I have to go now. And coincidentally, she's never around when Mystery Lady is. But that's just because the guy who is secretly Mystery Lady just wants to fuck with her. Like, he doesn't actually do anything. He's not rich. He's just like a guy who's a crime fighter, but he like basically always hangs out and never, like, he wants people to think that it's the police chief, but it's not.
Just setting her up to take the fall.
And I mean, it's a hero. It's a hero for San Francisco because there's a lot of cross-dressing.
Sure.
There's one of the villains is Hell on Wheels, who is a Satanist in a wheelchair.
Hell on Wheels or Hell on Wheels?
Hell on Wheels. I guess
because Hell on Wheels is all right too.
You could do like the.
Just saying.
And then there's Helen Killer, the sidekick.
Jesus.
Hell
on Wheels and Helen Killer.
Helen Killer, yeah. And they basically they only rob places that have ramps. And then there's
How do you feel when you come up with these ideas? Do you feel like, wow, this is a great idea? Or you're like,
I feel like there's an immense amount of satisfaction involved.
I want to know how you feel.
I'm pretty sure I thought of this idea like 3 years ago. I pretty much have these invisible action figures inside my brains, and when no one's around, I just bash them into each other.
Because they're intrusive thoughts, which are called dystonic intrusive thoughts.
Always diagnosing you.
Yeah, you might just have these ideas for Hell on Wheels and Helen Killer, and you're like, I wish these ideas would go away, but I can't get them out of my head. These action figures.
Yeah, and then there's Fruit Leather. Fruit Leather is basically Rob Halford, but he only throws fruit at people.
He's gay.
All his weapons are fruit themes. I guess he's gay. You never know. But he's
Rob Halford. Actually,
no, Rob Halford's gay, but this guy isn't actually Rob Halford. He's just he's got the the biker hat, and everything he's wearing is leather and has studs on it. But all of his weapons, it's like in Donkey Kong Country 64. All the weapons are like fruit themed. He's like, have a pineapple hand grenade. Oh no, I've got my banana boomerang. I'm gonna launch some cherry bombs at you.
So no one actually has powers. It sounds like they just got themes, like
maybe some
classic
of them have powers.
Batman.
Hell on Wheels.
Maybe they do.
Satan.
Well, yeah, that's a power, I guess. That's a proclivity. That's an interest.
It's like
got an interest.
A hobby with some perks.
It's like yeah, that's right.
Then there's one of the monsters he fights is the Philanthropede, who's a really generous.
Man, you've got this. How deep does this go? This tunnel we're going down into your mind.
Wormhole. I don't know.
The Philanthropede
robs places, but then donates all the money to charity. But everyone's like, "Holy Mother of God, that's a giant centipede!" Like the centipede that Jack Black fights in King Kong. It's like those centipedes.
Oh, that's a big centipede.
But it wears a fucking blazer. It wears a blazer with like a tweed jacket with the felt things on the sleeves, but that's only for the top part. So he looks like a centaur. So he comes in and he's just like,
What? Oh, does he have a man top? Does he have a man top, or is it just a giant centipede with this blazer
he's
on?
got like larger forelegs, I guess. But he wears this like blazer, you know. And if he wore pants, he'd wear some jeans. He's like an angel investor, but he's a giant centipede.
Does he have a human head or a centipede head?
He's got like a big centipede.
That's a deal breaker.
Head. Yeah, I don't know. He probably
so the proportions are off, but it's all centipede. Oh, good.
Yeah,
gravy.
He looks kind of dumb, honestly. I mean, he was from like the later issues of this comic I invented in my brain.
You missed a trick though, because you said like I guess it's got more of an erect sort of front to it, right? Kind of it sits up on like I guess 4 smaller legs, and you could have called it the centipede.
Oh, you could. You still could.
No, but it's the philanthropy.
Yeah.
It's the philanthropy.
Yeah.
But just as hell on wheels knows Helen.
Well, then of course there's always there's also you're right. It could be the centipede and then misanthropist. I don't know. It'd be like a philanthropy. No, but it would be like misanthropy, but it's philanthropy.
Or you could have a generous jar of urine called philanthropist.
Yeah.
It's just a jar.
I'm ruining it. I'm going to step back because I'm ruining it.
No, I like it.
I got one. I got one more. He's called Robespierre. Right? Yeah, and he's just a French guy who tries to strangle people with rope. Like, that's his shit. That's what he does. He doesn't have any fucking motivation with it. He's just like, he's not even a serial killer. He's just a really, he's like a showman murderer. You know, he'll show up in this like ridiculous Frenchman outfit where he's wearing like a striped shirt and a beret and he rides there on a bicycle, but then he'll reach into like his little wicker backpack and he'll like throw the baguette aside, but he'll pull out this length of like, you know, nylon cord and he'll just start fucking strangling bystanders with it. And they'll call the police or Mystery Lady, and Mystery Lady will swoop in. You know,
I've always been kind of confused how you can just strangle people. Because can't they just not get strangled?
If you close their throat off.
Yeah,
but then they can't breathe, and so well, like if you can't breathe, you also can't really like exert as much energy as you normally would.
If you didn't want to get strangled, you shouldn't have gone out with that sexy neck of yours. That's basically what victim blaming. Victim blaming. You are as bad as the fat cats on Wall Street with your victim.
Who, I am?
Yes, absolutely.
I think there's ways. I mean, people try to strangle
Jonathan
me.
Holmes.
Hey, let me tell you something, guys. If you have to go pee, don't go to Wall Street because all the bathrooms there are occupied.
Speaking of that,
I enjoyed it.
That's quite.
I enjoyed it.
That is just a little crack at the impoverished there.
Yeah, tiny.
How am I making fun of the impoverished?
I'm joking.
God.
We write about video games.
You fucking robber baron in Mississippi in your fucking grand estate with the. You live in a plantation, don't you? You live in like a video game plantation, and you just have your fucking big beanbag chair in your office with your.
You quiet your jaw, boy!
Good grief. So it's October. Did you know?
Huh?
I'm organizing the podcast by bringing up the fact that it's October. This is big game season now.
Yep. You can hunt buffalo all morning.
It's big game season, isn't it?
It is.
You guys are it's Octobergeddon for you, Jim.
Yeah. Hashtag.
Yeah.
Yep. Follow the craze, of which there are 2 tweets. One I did, and then a retweet. So that is the trending topic in the making. Octobergeddon, followed on from Septembergeddon, and to be followed by Novembergeddon.
Right, and Decembergeddon isn't such a geddon.
December is just like Decembergeddon out of here. That doesn't work.
Oh, I enjoyed that. Yeah, that was good.
December, I'm having a fucking holiday. Yeah, there is to do, especially with Nick Chester, former editor-in-chief, just upping and fucking off. Not thinking about anyone but himself and his fat harmonix cheddar that he's going to make. Off to rake in mad cheese, leaving me on my own to get fucking Connect Sports delivered to my door every day.
That is bad, yeah.
Fucking Dance Revolution.
Oh, that I enjoy. But it is not. Yeah, it's a little. It's a little blarg. But yeah.
Right. There's a lot of stuff happening. Like I said, I've been playing since 8 a.m. fucking Ratchet and Clank. To do some very good.
And then you have Payday the Heist, which looks really good. You've got
Payday
that afterwards, right?
Looking forward to that. Just confirmed for Battlefield 3. Then some other things.
Who's doing Skyrim for Destructoid? Do we know that yet?
How do you even review a game like that?
I will literally murder anyone else who tries to review it. Literally murder. You're a dead man. Every breath you take is precious now.
Hey, guess what? What?
Yes.
We're getting a review copy of the show. Review it.
You can do what you want on the show.
Oh, but I'm gonna
mess with my fucking oats.
Actually, you should come on our show. We're gonna have a special Skyrim episode.
Yeah,
if it's about Skyrim, I definitely will come on the show. Seaman is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I was just going to suggest that we have you ejaculating on camera.
Out the end of my squirming little gibbering maggot.
Yep. So people like Skyrim, I guess, because you walk around and you...
Don't even start. Start, Jonathan.
I've never played it, unlike you guys.
Jonathan Holmes, you said that you wanted to talk about Skyrim today.
Yeah, tell me about why it's
Jonathan
good.
Holmes. Jonathan Holmes, take your mouth and shove it up your own ass.
Whoa!
I don't have anything creative to say about Skyrim.
What about it? Why should I like it?
You are a filthy-mouthed little sodomite.
I just don't know why I should like it. I've never played it. There's so many people out there that say it's going to be the best game ever. They've never played it. You guys have actually played it, so you can help the rest of us understand. You can steal pies. That sounds good.
Okay. The thing that I like about
it did it yet.
Was it good?
Yeah. No, I haven't.
It's pretty good.
Jonathan Holmes,
likes it.
Have you ever in your life, made a flamethrower come out of your hand to burn butterflies? Have you?
Is that
because I don't think you have.
Is that why people want Skyrim? So if I
that's
say
the only reason people want Skyrim. It's all anyone that what all the kids on the street are talking about.
See, when you guys talk about it, you talk about fishing and stepping on crabs and kicking wolves and flamethrower.
That's what bad people like
that
us
stuff
do.
Like
guess what else?
Oh,
you can also go around picking flowers. You can go hiking. You can take a horse and ride the horse through snowy mountains. You can go fishing, maybe. Yeah, you can go fishing. You can go cooking. You can do some cooking in the game if you want to do some cooking. You can make jewelry. You can seriously do some of the girliest fucking shit. But you can also stab a goddamn frost astrogoth in the face with an enchanted axe that makes it turn into a fucking ball of poison, probably.
Yeah. And
so I'm just saying, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
So that's what people like about it. You can do whatever you want.
Don't forget the randomly generating dragons, and you can summon an whole storm to kill an dragon with an magic.
Ye old magic.
Oh, magic from ye oldie worldy.
Yeah.
And hey, nonny.
I was actually reading some. I was reading some fucking fairy tales last night, and the thing is, Skyrim is like a fairy tale. You want to call it fantasy or an RPG because I get it. You're a grown up. You're wearing the grown-up pants now, but that was addressed to the people on the internet. But really, it's a fucking fairy tale.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I read a fairy tale last night called Bearskin, and it was about a guy, and he was the miller's son, and the king was like, "Oh, I'm staying at the mill for no reason." And then this wizard came by and was like, "Oh, the miller's son is going to marry the king's daughter someday." So the king was like, "Attention, my creepy assistant, please take this baby and do so and so with it, and bring me its heart." So he goes home, and he's got this baby with him, and his wife's like, oh, don't kill the baby. That's gross. And he's like, well, what should I do? And he's like, well, here's a dead rabbit. You should cut out its heart and give it to the king. And the king's stupid. He doesn't know anything about, like, rabbit anatomy sure. or baby anatomies. So just bring him this rabbit heart, and he'll be like, oh, okay, I killed a baby, not myself. I just ordered a person. It was just making orders. So the wife, the fucking Good Samaritan wife who sees this, like, enchanted baby, that she wanted to save, she decides to take a basket, cover the inside of the basket with tar, and put the baby in the tar basket, and then send it down the river where it's discovered by a she-bear. And because the baby was raised by this bear and drank all the bear's milk, it became super strong. And then one day it decided to wander into the world, where it made friend with a retarded pig herder. And he decided that he was going to fucking marry that princess. And then there was some shit where he had to cut out a dragon's tongues. But basically, Skyrim's a goddamn fairy tale, and you should read more fairy tales.
Yeah. Fairy tales are good, yeah.
Was that the prequel to Commando or not?
That would explain why he lifts up those phone booths.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's what happened.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
He was in a tar boat and then had a baby mom. That's definitely what happened.
I think a lot of the best games are like fairy tales, because fairy tales take symbolism and manifest it in fantasy and speak to some universal truths of the human condition, Jim Sterling.
Oh, don't say that word ever. Don't ever utter that phrase.
I refuse to let artsy, snobby guys steal the human condition from us.
You might know what this is called.
Yes.
They did this test where they took a bunch of people from, like, all over the world and totally different cultural upbringings. They took, like, a fucking Wall Street banker and then, like, a bushman from the Aborigines. Yeah, okay.
Sure. Jim hates it already.
Okay.
I don't know why.
And then they hypnotized them. Them and they told them to draw some pictures. Or they put them in, like, in a trance of some sort. And what they figured out is basically everybody knows how to draw spirals and, like, zigzags. Like, that's why that's a thing that appears. It's like, it's not panoptic imagery. That's something else. That's like trompe l'oeil or some shit. But from my art history days, I learned this, and it's like consciously everyone draws, like, different shit. Like, an Aboriginal bushman is not going to be drawing pictures of, like, Ford Explorers and dollar signs coming out the back.
Sure. Yeah.
And the Wall Street banker will probably not be drawing, like, weird space kangaroos. But I think that fairy tales are appealing because they have this sort of simplicity, and they're like, fantasy and escapism on that level. That's why people like Star Wars. That's why people like Lord of the Rings. That's why they like Harry Potter, because, like, they might not be the most original things ever. They take, mythology and they kind of reinterpret. Same with superheroes. It's like, it's this very archetypal kind of storytelling.
Yeah.
And, there's never any
Skyrim
fucking
has a story, then?
There are no relationship problems in Skyrim.
Are there? I don't know. There's a story, right? Or something?
Yeah, there's a story.
Oh, okay. You're
not fighting with your girlfriend about what kind of screws to get to put up shelves you got from IKEA. Like, that's not there, because in no way, shape, or form is that like an archetypal argument. That's like some stupid modern bullshit.
It's pretty specific.
What a game about your life would be
Max. Max, I'm going to have to stop you there, because that was the shittiest defense of Skyrim I've ever heard.
I wasn't even attacking Skyrim.
I don't even know what that proved.
It's a place to go where you don't have to fight with your girlfriend. I think that's a great defense of Skyrim. Oh, look, a dragon.
Yeah,
maybe the dragon represents my girlfriend.
The other
video game could make that argument.
I live for conflict with my family, though.
Do you?
It's all I live for.
I didn't know that about you.
To knock 7 shades of shit out of my wife.
Wow. Are you like a Super Saiyan?
Fucking smash her head through the wall like Jason in Jason Lives.
I am a Krogan. I was born to fight.
I don't do that. People think I do. A guy on Twitter was once saying, is anybody in a relationship or has been in a relationship with Jim Sterling? I want to ask if he's ever been abusive to you. That was a genuine question back in that whole, Jim's a misogynist thing. And someone was looking for evidence that I beat women up.
Why did they assume that you did?
Because I hate women so much.
Oh, that makes
I wake up in the morning and the first thing I think about is all women are shit. It makes me so mad. I'm going to go out and punch them in there for JJ's.
That's the whole reason you married your wife, is to hide her away from the world in your ivory tower.
That is true.
Plantation. Hide her from wonders.
In fact, I do own a plantation, and it is I have just loads of women out there working the fields for me.
Only women?
Only women. They are I just got a slave workforce of women.
To talk about how dumb misogyny is, patient at my hospital is head injured, and he thinks that the whole reason why he's in hospitals and his functionality is decreased is it's women. And you're like, what do you mean? He's like, it's women. And you're like, what? And he was talking about how terrible women are, and one of the psychiatrists was like, actually, women are, just like men, really. There's people. There's maybe some differences, but maybe not. And he was like, you're weak. The psychiatrist said, what? He said, because you defend women. I'm out of here. He just left.
Jesus.
Yeah.
He was the one in the mental hospital.
Yeah, he was. He's head injured. But it's much easier to just blame all your problems on women than to actually
go in the cafeteria and flip a tray of grease on somebody, and then go like, "I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me." And then the cafeteria worked up and said, "Ow, that hurt," and he said, "No."
It's a little more like he.
Impressions.
It's more like he just poured a milkshake on his head, and they said, "Why'd you do that?" And he went, "Women."
I'm a Yeti.
Yeah, I'm a Yeti. You just said suddenly.
Frost damage.
Yeah, he didn't make any sense. Misogyny's pretty dumb. Skyward Sword's gonna have some relationships in it. Speaking of relationships,
looks like some bullshit. I don't like that game.
You don't like Skyward Sword anymore? Suddenly,
I want it, but I hate that Zelda is like a sassy bitch. Like that's their way of updating Zelda. To make it
they
more
made
relevant.
her a sassy bitch? I didn't notice that.
It's like Harry Potter now.
Yeah.
Is it?
Like,
what?
I get better grades
than you.
Cliff.
Oh.
It's set in a skull. And I was disappointed because I wanted Ganondorf to be like an evil phys ed teacher or something.
That would be kind of funny.
We're gonna play dodgeball until you give me the Triforce.
I rule high.
I roll high. I'm surprised that hasn't been done yet, actually.
Hey, fuck you, Ganondorf.
Excuse me, princess.
Damn right. And then Zelda is like, hey, Arnold. Oh, I got confused with Hey Arnold again.
That's a good show.
I went too far. Any discussion about Skull, if it goes too far, ends at Hey Arnold. The Hey Arnold's Event Horizon.
Like he goes up to an Octorok and he's like, "Move it, football head!" And then I don't know, the Octorok.
And then he's got a locket with the Octorok photo in it, and he secretly.
And there's a fucking pole voice behind him. It's just like. And then
is that what they sound like?
No, that's what fucking the heavy breathing guy from Arnold sounds like.
And Tingle has like massive hair that goes up straight. Like Marge Simpson's, but more racist.
You're a bold kid, Link. You're a bold kid.
That's one thing I haven't talked about is if there's a Tingle.
I'm doing the Hey Arnold thing. That is now.
Okay, someone kidnapped Lucy and put her in the dungeon. I don't know what to do, Arnold.
Because the theme tune for Skyward Sword goes. That's how it goes. Because it's now Hey Arnold.
Is there going to be a Tingle type guy in it that you guys know of? Because I always want a Tingle type.
The main villain, isn't it, from the looks of things?
Oh, he is a little tingly, but not quite tingly enough.
Is that offensive man, the offensive albino, effeminate man? Is he the main villain in this fucking game?
I think so, yeah.
I think he's going to be as big a villain as Zant was. He's going to be a villain for a bit, and then it's going to be Ganondorf for the 50th time.
Well, that's what I was going to...
I don't have any problem, fighting a giant purple wizard pig who's mean. However, fighting, one half of, Siegfried and Roy,
Have you seen his tongue though? His tongue is good.
What?
His tongue, that guy is like Giraham or something. His name is. He's got a Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street 3 type purple tongue that comes out and like almost licks Link, but not quite. It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, that's like uncomfortable. That's not really threatening. Like I know that there are, tongues could be like but that's like unwanted sexual advances. That's not like, oh shit, you're throwing fireballs at me.
Right, which is good. Unwanted sexual advances is good, right? I mean,
if anything, that just makes me feel powerless.
Good,
as opposed to endangered. I just feel uncomfortable.
Good.
Like, do you have to just like be assertive with him when you fight him? Is that like the trick to the boss battle? You know, you have to use the Master Sword to deflect his unwanted sexual advances.
You have to report him to human resources.
You can. Yeah, you have to use the HR medallion to summon the fucking blast of swift justice. You can also deflect his advances with the butterfly net.
Yeah, I think he's a neat villain. He makes you feel uncomfortable.
Oh, he's very neat. Yeah. He's got extremely good hygiene, just very well put together.
Yeah, he's got a little bodysuit on. I sang "Stand by Your Man" with a female impersonator a few days ago, and it was great. That happened.
Do you mean a female impersonator or a gender illusionist?
They described themselves as a female impersonator, but gender illusionist is much better. I'll bring that up to
Gender illusionist sounds like the coolest term. You're like, wow, that's like being a fucking that's like being a frost wizard or something. Like it's got a cool kind of magical sound. Like female impersonator sounds like,
that implies just like wanton deception. That basically says, book me, you're gonna get lied to.
Right. Mm-hmm. You're pretending to be something.
It's
illusionist.
Illusionist
saying you're like a comedian magic. Or saying you're Jeff Dunham. Like
yes. Yes, absolutely. Whereas illusionist, there's an element of mystique, and it's skill as well, because to be a talented illusionist takes skill. To be an impersonator means you've just got to be a shady fuck.
Yeah.
So,
well, isn't an illusionist just like a magician?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What's the difference?
An illusionist, it makes them feel better. So
it sounds cooler, yeah.
Oh, it sounds more professional, I guess.
Yeah, because it's not magic.
If you say I'm a magician, then you think children's parties,
Yeah, or like
McDonald's
and spider.
You say illusionist, they think stubble. You've got stubble, you wear like a tight dark grey sweater, and you're out on the street doing card tricks for winos because you're just that fucking edgy.
Yeah, you might make the London Bridge disappear too.
Yeah.
If you're really good. If you're an illusionist. But a magician just like has a pointy hat and a long beard and tries to make sparkles come out of his hands and they don't come out.
That said, what the fuck is Chris Angel?
Chris Angel?
My God.
I've seen pictures of him. He looks like he should be in Jim Henson's Labyrinth.
Take that as a compliment, I'm sure. He
doesn't. I don't know what it is. What is it?
What is he?
What is it?
He's a mind freak.
He's the mind freak. He'll mind freak you.
It makes me pretty fucking mad that like they sell his magic kits at the local Walgreens.
Yeah,
but they don't. There are other things that they don't sell. Like other things that I've gone there looking for that they didn't have for sale, but they did have the Chris Angel Deluxe Mind Freak Magic Kit.
That's where that's actually everything. When I think of Chris Angel, all I think about is that fucking box of tricks at Walgreens.
Yeah, the black and white box.
Yeah, my stepkid's always pointing at it saying, I want that. And I'm like, no you don't, twat. I don't say that to him. But Walgreens,
he really wants it though?
Yeah, I don't even think he knows who Chris Angel is.
No, he's not really on TV much anymore. I think he's on PAX.
In fact, he says he likes Justin Bieber, but he doesn't know who he is. They just say it at school, and then he thinks, oh, I like that as well, because he's got no spine.
I figured it would be cooler to say that you hate him, though.
Huh? What'd you say?
It'd be cooler to say, though, that you hate Justin Bieber.
Oh, no.
If you're a dude. Our age, if you're a kid.
If you're a dude.
Yeah, if you're... No,
well, I don't know at 8 years old you can qualify yet as a dude.
Oh, I thought he was like 12.
No. If he's saying he likes Justin Bieber at 12, I'll hit him myself.
So, when I moved to Connecticut, I was like 8. I was like that age, and I moved to Connecticut, and like nobody had MTV, and I guess I'd sort of had it, or at least I had like radio where I lived in the city in Cambridge, where Jonathan Holmes lives.
V66.
Jammin' 94.5.
Oh, I know that station very well.
Yeah, Jammin' 94.5. I used to listen to that shit all the time, and so I showed up in the middle of fucking nowhere, Connecticut, and I'm like, "You guys like Coolio?" And they're like, "What? What is this thing? Who is this?"
Coolio is awesome.
Yeah, well, apparently people in rural Connecticut didn't know that in 1995 because they were really into AC/DC. I was like,
oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, AC/DC is fucking great. Don't get me wrong, but like, I mean, let's be fair. I was ahead of the curve there.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coolio was big in the part of Massachusetts I grew up in. And Fish. People love that PHISH. Anyway, I just got depressed thinking about Fish. You guys know that rock and roll group? They're
they're great.
I know the
they're
name.
awesome.
They jam. They'll jam for a long time if you want.
They do.
Yeah, they'll do that for you if that's what you want. Yeah.
Is Fish the one that did Gangster's Paradise or not?
That's Coolio. Yeah.
Is it Coolio? Did I get mixed up again? Fuck me.
They all look the same. Those, pop musicians.
Sure.
I would love that if somebody who like did the whole like the racist stereotyping thing, but based on like professions.
Oh yeah.
Just be like, oh yeah, doctors. They all I get them. People in the medical profession. They all look the same to me. Musicians, they all look the same to me.
Oh, they should all fuck off back to Sheffistan.
Where's that? Sheffistan?
It was invented.
Chefing?
It was a joke based on what? Oh, get with the
lost.
Program, guy.
Really?
I got it.
Jesus, I'm spinning joke 0.0.
Oh, I had a bad joke. Okay, this is actually directed at Holmes because I don't know what your ethnicity is, so this might be helpful coming.
Okay.
I heard it. So like, I guess the more Arctic of Native Americans, the ones who we used to call Eskimos. Is that okay? Is that a good word anymore? Or is that bad?
Eskimo? I think it's Inuit now.
Inuit?
The thing is,
gotta be Inuit.
I don't think the Eskimos care. I think it's like other people feel guilty for them, because if I was an Eskimo stroke Inuit, I'd be more concerned about not having my testicles freeze off.
Yeah.
I think they've got more important things to worry about, like fighting killer whales.
Well,
sure, racial tension isn't big on the list.
Like, I'm sure Eskimo is kind of like, it's like it's like Indian, like it's just kind of like a misnomer, but what about this?
Yeah.
Ice warlocks. Would that be offensive, or would that just make them? I mean, I think that would be cool. That would be like, if I heard like, what do people? I'm an ice warlock.
Black magicians. Sure.
Your affinity has been with the ice element today. I've noticed.
Yeah.
You mentioned Astaroths, you mentioned Yetis, frost damage, ice.
I'm thinking about Skyrim a lot, and really, it's not a. I hope the next Elder Scrolls game is all tropical. That would be so funny.
Oh, that would be nice.
That would be. Everyone's just wearing like Hawaiian shirt armor. You can dual wield cocktails.
Still trying to figure out the
Elder Scrolls 6 Hakuna Matata.
People really are passionate about it. I don't know where the passion comes from. Maybe you guys can help me figure out, because it's not just like, oh yeah, it's a fun game. It's really fun. It's like it's the best game ever.
It's like more.
Is that what they like about it?
It's because they made a huge world that is as close to a living, breathing world as a video game kind of gets, and as someone who I spent so many hours absorbed in Oblivion, because it was just this. It was like living in Willow or Crow, living in that kind of fantasy world where you get to be whatever kind of fantasy hero or anti-hero you want to be. And it's just full of so many little bits and pieces, little incidental characters who seem to have entire histories of their own. It's just a very rich world, and people get it really absorbed in that stuff, and that's why people like it.
That makes sense.
As someone who is, I mean, presumably you're a big Zelda fan, and I like Skyrim for the same reasons I like, the Zelda games. It's that world, like Hyrule is this awesome sort of place to just live in for a while. Skyrim is well, I guess sort of more Elder Scrolls is like that, but it's on an even bigger scale than that.
Because that's actually not what I like about Zelda as much.
What do you like about Zelda?
The puzzles, the weapons, the ideas, the monster designs, the music, the character design. Being in the world is definitely my least. That's what I'm interested in Zelda, kind of the least. It's good, but that's not what I get into it for. It's probably
the music and the graphics and the design are all part of that world. They're the things that are drawing you in.
Sure, they're pretty expressive in Zelda. In Elder Scrolls, I didn't pick up on too expressive.
There are giants herding mammoths, you cunt!
Oh, well, sure, that's fine. But the music, what music plays when the giants are herding mammoths, you cunt?
It's all very ambient. When you do stuff, it's all like...
I gotta play it to see for myself.
You can if you like music,
He's stressing me out.
For instance, Holmes.
What happened? Who happened?
I don't know.
Where'd Jim go?
You upset him.
What? I just quoted you.
Right, because you saying things I don't like about video games.
Maybe it's a great game. When I see footage of it, it's just a guy, and then there's another thing, and then he hits it. I'm like, oh, a game like that again. Yep.
Okay.
It's hard to really get the gravitas of it all.
They're trying to... You really can't represent it in any... I mean, you can't exactly make like a travel video for it. Because if you're trying to sell like a video game, most people are like, oh, I want some action. So they're showing the action. Sure. At the same time, you can also... I mean, you pretty much have to fight stuff because it's a medieval action game. There's like monsters that are trying to kill you. That's sort of like the thing. But, I mean, things try to kill you in Pokemon too, so whatever. Sure. But you can go up to like a lady in a tavern and she'll be like, oh, hello there, fair traveler. Would you like for me to play you a song on my lute? And you can say, yes, I would like to hear Ragnar the Red. And she'll go over in the corner and play you a song on her lute. It's really neat.
So she's like Toto KK in that way. KK Slider,
Maybe.
She's kind of like, when she sings...
Jonathan, baby, try it. I'm gonna tell everyone you touched me! And then everyone's gonna look at you like you're a bad man!
That's how it...
Skyrim is good!
I'm sure it's really good. It looks really well made. The textures on the...
You know what?
On the hair,
it's
textures.
Funny. It's funny that he does that, but that's actually like a pretty good impression of Elder Scrolls fans.
Which a lot of them watch the show. They love your show.
Some of them, there are people who are like, oh, this is a person who's excited about a thing that I'm also excited about. I therefore respect what he's doing and appreciate his enthusiasm. Whereas there are other people who are like, no, you're enthusiastic wrong.
That is. I saw some of the comments on some of the videos. Because Max has done a lot of videos on Skyrim, and I've done quite a few with him, and I checked out the ones with me in, obviously.
Right.
And
sure.
I couldn't do it for long because some of those comments come from retards.
Well, yeah. That's what I kind of had fun with. Is like if anything, the Skyrim or the Elder Scrolls fans with their obnoxiousness have made me a fan, because when Skyrim first came around, I hadn't really paid a full attention to it. Like I hadn't given it a close look, and the first time we talked about it was very casual on the show, and we got just fucked, just fuckery just swarmed our YouTube, and it just came at us like bees made of like little shits. Just
because you weren't excited enough. You didn't say anything bad about it.
Who is this? Who is this? This heathen? This. This awful thing. Boy. What is he saying? You know,
and we will send him to the Kraken. We will.
Yeah, and I'm convinced that like the average Elder Scrolls fan, he spends a good portion of his day playing Oblivion, possibly the mods, because you know he's gotten. He doesn't want to say he's gotten bored of Oblivion.
He doesn't play Oblivion. He plays Morrowind upscaled. He plays Morrowind and then sits there in his pants, just in his underpants, playing Morrowind, eating like Häagen-Dazs with his hands.
End of story.
And just sits back and then just like with ice cream on his hands, just sort of puts it on his penis helmet because that numbs it a bit. So he says it makes his orgasms more powerful. I don't know what he's doing. And then he just sits back and closes his eyes and thinks about what a good Elder Scrolls fan he is, and then just tugs it. And he's imagining in his head Todd Howard from Bethesda going, "You're tugging it good. You're talking it good, man." Like that, and he's just, the Scrolls, like that, and then it just all up his belly, and a bit even hits his neck. Powerful guff.
Right. And then he hasn't really cleaned up, but after he sort of like, you know, dusts off the semen and Häagen-Dazs from his keyboard.
Once it dries and flakes.
Right. He goes on YouTube, and he searches Elder Scrolls 6, and maybe, perchance, our video comes up, and he is so angry that is not the only thing we're doing.
And you know, I'll tell you why he's angry. Because after he has just like brushed the flaky, dry sort of semen that's cracked off of his chest.
We're fucking horrible people.
he types in, you know, Elder Scrolls, and it's still in his head. He's got Todd Howard saying, "You're the only one for me." I don't know what he sounds like. He's like, "You're the only one for me. I made Skyrim just for you." And then he's sounding like fucking Roger Waters now. "I do believe it's working." He types Elder Scrolls into YouTube and sees that someone else likes it as well. And then he thinks, "Fuck, I must use the power that God has put in my keyboard to destroy this man."
Yeah. It baffles my mind hard.
This has been a great Podtoid.
This has been really good. You've done some good stuff as usual, Jim. Oh, man. I'm really out of it. I'm at a maximum exhaustion. But I'm with you guys. I'm feeling it. Isn't it weird that there are people that don't like it when other people like what they like?
I know.
They get angry. They're like, "That's my thing."
But I mean, obviously, that's like yeah. I mean, that's become popularized now as the sort of hipster thing, I guess, of those people that. And I find that a bit of it's lazy to just label everyone with that word, and it's been overused like emo.
These guys are all that hip necessarily. But they're shut-ins a lot of the time. Some of them are my friends, and they'll tell me, like, you know that show Tim and Eric, right?
Oh yeah, I quite like that show.
It's hit and miss, but it's pretty great sometimes. John Mayer was on an episode of that show once, and a friend of mine was like, "Fuck it, I'm never watching that show again." I'm like, "What? Why?" He's like, "John Mayer's on that? No way. That used to be mine, but now it's John Mayer's. I'm out." I'm like, it's still a funny show, though. You can just watch it and like it and not care if John Mayer likes it.
You get that with PC gamers as well. They complain about being the overlooked minority, but when someone tries to look their way, they want to gouge out the eyes of anyone staring in their direction. I remember when Destructoid started up its PC coverage, it was like, "Hey, you don't know what you're talking about, man. Go back to consoles, you console kitty. Hey, I'm Bob Dylan for some reason. Go back to consoles.
The console kitty. Hey. You should turn that into a song. You're a console kitty.
Console kitty, go back to the city. Hey, man."
I'm enjoying that way too much.
So anyway, Bob Dylan gets really angry when we cover games on PC. But I found that just so arrogant. And you get this PC gamers, not all of them obviously, but a certain vocal subset of them. You get that with fucking certain religious groups. You get that with social groups. You get that with fucking Elder Scrolls fans and other hardcore fans of games. They hate the idea of sharing. They hate the idea that their thing can be everyone's thing, and it's like, if you were a real fan, why would you? Why?
You know, it's funny because I remember I can empathize. I think I'm pretty good at empathizing with people. I remember when I went and saw the midnight showing of Revenge of the Sith, Star Wars, and like at that point, my Star Wars fandom had kind of gone from like really hardcore to like more casual. But I was still second in line for the midnight showing, and I got there at like 6 o'clock, and I was like hanging out, eating burritos and shit, and talking to this guy in a Jedi Knight robe who was first in line. At about like 11:30, the line was actually kind of around the corner a little bit, and like everyone in Sonoma had showed up, and at the end of the line, I just remember seeing like these fucking like annoying jocks from my French class, and they'd brought like cardboard tubes and bathrobes, and they were like pretending they were Jedi Knights. And I took that as sort of an affront to like my fandom, because I was always the kid who was really fucking pumped on Star Wars. That was the shit that I was into. And they would always be like, whatever, Star Wars, that's lame. I'm gonna go talk to this fucking dumb girl over here. Hold on, let me go bash my dick into something stupid and blonde. And I'm like, yeah, man.
Those guys.
Yeah, I did. I can picture one of them. He just like looks like a dumb person. And I was just pissed off. I was like, you make me feel like a weirdo for like not for being into Star Wars, but here it is like fucking almost midnight on like a Thursday, and you're just chilling out in a bathrobe with a cardboard tube. Fuck you. Like that's jumping on the goddamn bandwagon. And I hate to feel like I'm jumping on the bandwagon with Skyrim, or seeming like that fucking douchey casual guy who's like, oh, it's cool, it's got dragons in it. But like, I think it looks like a really cool game.
You've played it a few times.
Yeah, it is a fucking.
At the end of the day, people get criticized because, and people would say it if you were to be the one who did like the written review of Skyrim, and maybe they'll do it if you do it on the video review as well. If you say like, oh well, I didn't play Morrowind, straight away your point would be like anything you'd have to say about the game would be invalid, and it's like, fuck you. You know what? You don't. It doesn't matter when you get on board with a game. So long as you have fun with it, then I think your opinion is valid.
Sure. I feel like most people think that also, and you're probably just focusing on like the one or two negative douchebags.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have a podcast if we didn't do that.
Good point.
Yeah, thing, there are people who just are like, they play video games like every free hour they have, and then they're like, how the fuck did you get your job? And it's like, well, because I wasn't constantly playing video games. Sorry, bro. Like,
people really do envy you, Max. It's
I know.
It's a painful thing. Because you're one of them. You're angry at the good-looking, popular jock guy with the cool hair, and he's athletic and fine.
I want to run into that guy at the high school reunion and be like, oh yeah, guess what I do for a living, you dick sucker.
But other people think you're that guy because you're sexy.
Oh, I do that whenever I get like friended by someone I knew in college or school on Facebook. Doesn't happen often because none of them want to associate with me. But every now and then when it happens, I go out of my way to make a status update that is probably so gauche, but I try and be subtle about it. But it probably amounts to, oh, that's another $4,000. Just to let them know that I play video games, I'm paid to do it, and my life is great. That's the weird fat guy who hung around with the weird skinny guy who looked like Laurel and Hardy together in college, sitting in dark rooms with their sunglasses on to impress girls because I didn't know how to talk to him, and now I'm rich!
Life.
Hey, here's a thing that happened. I forgot. I'm on that new podcast that I'm doing with.
The Press the Buttons.
Comedy button. The comedy button.
Comedy button.
Find it. It's the comedy button.
thecomedybutton.com
or just the comedy button on iTunes. We put up our first episode on Friday, and I think we were like number 1 in Sweden this weekend.
Oh wow!
I think we were like number 4 in games and hobbies. Behind like NPR's pot. Like people downloaded it, which is really exciting because they were like, hey, do you want to do this with us? And I'm like, okay. So go check that out if you want to hear more dumb me talking on the things.
Who are you doing it with?
It's with Scott Bromley, formerly of IGN, and it's the former GameSpy debriefings guys.
Okay.
But Brian Altano, who's with IGN, Ryan Scott, formerly of GameSpy, Anthony Gallegos from Rebel FM and IGN. So bunch of guys.
It's quite an all-star cast.
It's like a Voltron made of guys who make dick jokes. So
Yeah, it's a super group. Dick joke super group. Sounds good.
That was exciting. Just telling people, what are you doing? Oh, I just, we raised $40,000 in a Kickstarter to fund this podcast. Like our goal was $6,000 so we could buy mics and a mixer and a laptop. We raised $40,000. It's a fucking podcast. I don't know what to do with that money. But
what? Yeah. How did you do that? Did you try?
We put up a Kickstarter and we're like, hey guys, and it's like they had a fan following already, so they were like, hey, here's a video of us, goofing around, and we want to make a new podcast for you guys to listen to, and then people downloaded or donated for like $39,600 or some shit.
I bet if we put up a Kickstarter for Podtoid, we'd get like $12. We should do it.
Yeah. Hey, that is $12.
Who said there was? If you said there was like if we'd mention your name on the air for $20, we might get.
Actually, we're not allowed to do.
We're not.
I know from experience because on the old Podtoid before this mess, I used to invite the listeners to PayPal me money. Wow. And I would say things, whatever they'd want me to say, like some sort of whore. And then after about 2 or 3 weeks of this, of me just sort of saying things like, I don't know, wrinkly bumholes or whatever it was they wanted me to say for upwards of downwards of $20. Didn't want to price myself out the market. But after a while of that, Nero sent me an email saying, so I've heard you've been doing this. Don't do this. It's probably not a good idea, so I stopped.
But if we were to say we're going to make a Podtoid movie...
Yeah, but we'd be lying.
Yeah, the Kickstarter thing was... We were pretty straight up. We were like, we're not spending this money on ourselves. Like, so far we've gotten ourselves lunch.
Fucking $1,000, I would.
If we raise $75,000 for a Podtoid movie... I could assure that we could make a Podtoid movie. I assure it.
But can we get Willem Dafoe to star in it?
No, but we could get.
How much do you think his movie fee is?
I don't know. You could probably get him for a tube of Pringles.
Yeah.
The problem
for free if he likes
doing a movie is a majority of the budget would just go towards flying us to the one place because we're currently in 3 time zones.
Yeah,
people know that.
We could use special effects to make it look like we were all together.
Or we could actually buy Skype and use a good version.
Or we could do a cartoon.
Yep, that too.
We could do a cartoon like All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Sure.
Let's remake All Dogs Go to Heaven.
We've talked about this before, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
If ever there was a movie...
Well, I tell you what, if the listeners want to start paying money, we won't recycle old material from other episodes. Otherwise, we're talking about All Dogs Go to Heaven again. Hey guys, let's talk about Muddy Buddies and do Voldemort impressions.
Well, actually, on Twitter, people are asking me to do the same stuff I've done, because I told them we didn't have any questions, so they were like, just do that creepy Japanese voice again. Right, Felipe? You want me to do that? I'd feel a little lame doing that again. Wouldn't that be a little lame?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Jonathan Holmes. I see absolutely nothing wrong with redoing all this.
Harry Potter. Hey, Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Going up. Potter. I don't get sick of it. I don't. That would be easy. The Podtoid movie, we fly Jim out. I'll fly myself out. So we've got still...
you all come here. You all come to glamorous Mississippi.
Well, San Francisco is really the place to do it. We still have $65,000 left. I know camera guys that work for free. We just need a script and a story.
I tell you what, right? I will direct a Podtoid movie.
Yeah.
For $1,000. I could do it. With $1,000, I could make a Podtoid. I don't have to be like Angry Video Game Nerd being all give me like £10 million. English pounds, so they're worth more. That's what he said. Right? $1,000. I guarantee you... I can't even finish the sentence. I guarantee you will get a Podtoid movie that is worth $1,000.
To buy? You'd buy the VHS tape for $1,000?
No, it would just be like, wow, that money let's say it would be worth $1,000 split between 1,000 of our listeners.
Is this like a full-length feature film?
I could do. How long is the film? 120 minutes or not?
It's usually around that. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do one like that.
What?
Okay, then you're out of the movie.
Yeah, you're gone.
No.
Goodbye.
No, I think that's a stupid length of time.
Okay.
I think
too long. Or too short.
Too short, if anything. We can't even keep these down to an hour.
I think mini movies are the way to do it. Mini movies are the best.
Mini movies.
Like a mini.
Well, this would be in theaters, though. This would be a theater experience.
No, I'm telling you, no. It wouldn't.
No? It wouldn't be in theaters?
Well, I could draw it on a wall and shine a torch on it and pretend that it is a fucking movie theater. I'm saying for $1,000, I can get you a film. I'm not making any promises beyond that. I'm not saying we're going to be on David Letterman, right? I'm not saying it's going to be nationwide movie theaters. I will get you a film. And that's, if listeners, let's get a Kickstarter going. Let's get $1,000. Let's make a film.
This is the worst idea.
No.
I think with $60,000, if we just have to, if we multiply the digit by...
Blair Witch Project was made for $5.
This is such a fucking horrible idea.
You're gonna like the movie, Max.
What you're trying to do? Look, I know that we have fun, on the internet, but if we raised all that money, it would just be elaborate robbery. We'd have all this money, and then we'd put out a fucking webcam video of us just like bashing into each other or something.
No, I guarantee. Look, this is another promise, right? From me to you, and you can take this to the bank, listeners, right? While you're at the bank, donate $1,000 because I guarantee you, all $1,000 of the $1,000 that we will raise will go towards making a movie. I will spend. It won't be a robbery, like Max said. Don't listen to him. He is a left-wing liberal. Don't listen to what he says.
That's his problem.
Don't listen to what he says. Listen to me, the corporate fat cat who looks after you and makes all the jobs for you to have if you go to college, right? I don't know what I'm saying, but what
you're doing it.
Promise.
You're saying yes. Promise.
I wouldn't spend a single cent of your fat cheddar on myself. It would go entirely on the movie, and I will find ways to spend it because I know the movie cost $1,000 to make, but I will find ways to spend.
It would be like Brewster's Millions in that way. Yeah. Have you seen that movie, Brewster's Millions? Richard Pryor.
Good movie.
Effort. It's an effort he made. Yeah, it's a good movie. I think we could make a movie with $1,000. I'll fly myself down there for free.
I know that's the beauty of it. None of you would have to relocate at all.
Because we wouldn't really be in it, would we?
No, you would be in it in a fashion.
What's the point of doing it though if we don't even get the money?
Well, then we sell it for profit.
It sounds like a lot of work to make a movie.
Artistic endeavor.
No, we can sell it.
I'll do the majority of the work. You just have to, do your Tara thing.
Okay.
That's all you have to do. Yeah.
What am I going to be in the movie?
Yeah.
In a fashion.
So we're going to write and star in it, like Tommy Wiseau.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can write most of it. Although, like Tommy Wiseau, a lot of the budget will go on licensing R&B. It's gotta have an R&B soundtrack.
Oh my god!
Definitely.
Now you guys don't have to relocate because puppets. Okay, hear me out.
I like where this is going.
Imagine, if you will, right, a cross between Dark Crystal and Def Comedy Jam. You've just imagined Podtoid the movie, a high-space thrills and chills adventure with some bawdy humour. Made for $1,000, written by and directed by Jim Sterling and starring a lot of his puppet friends, they're not really alive, and voiced by a stellar cast including Jonathan Holmes, Max Scoville, Tara Long, and Morgan Freeman samples found on the internet. This is a movie you won't want to miss.
So do you play yourself? You're the live action character amongst the puppets in your puppet land?
Imagine, if you will, a cross between Dark Crystal, Def Comedy Jam, and Blue's Clues. And that's probably closer.
That sounds very good. That sounds really good.
It's going to be... In all seriousness, don't give me any money, because that really would be terrible. And as Max said, it really would be elaborate robbery, and I feel I've got to really, really add that. So that we aren't like basically soliciting bribes.
I may personally give you the $1,000 if you make that puppet movie.
If you give me $1,000, Jonathan, right? I would literally laugh to death.
Yeah, I may do it then. But the movie has to be over 22 minutes. That's my limit.
If you gave me $1,000, I would make a 23-minute Podtoid movie.
I'm very tempted.
And I would be found dead the next morning with a Richter's grin plastered on my face.
Because you'd make a puppet of Max and Tara and me out of socks, maybe, and like some felt.
I actually have all the materials for a Tara-long puppet.
Is it just my hair?
I don't know. I was actually going to make do a video where I was taking Max Scoville's place in the Destructoid show, and I was going to make a Tara-long puppet out of a paper plate, some orange wool, and a broomstick. And it was going to be completely nightmarish, but I just didn't get around to it.
Well, it's not too late. Maybe in December.
Yeah.
When all the games are done, reviewed.
Yeah.
You're reviewing Skyward Sword too, Jim?
Maybe.
You're going to be busy.
Maybe. I love
It's a long one, too.
Yeah, I love Sword to Zelda. I say I love Skyward Sword. That game's eluded me. I've had like 3 opportunities to play it, and I've never... It's the game that got away.
Yeah. I think you're going to like it a lot. It's a good game.
Holy shit, we're talking about video games.
Sorry.
Max went quiet because I think he's like really upset that we came so close to fraud.
Are you there, Max? I'm glad you're still there.
I'm just so tired.
Oh, I know. It's okay. Should we do questions? It's almost...
Do we have questions?
We can't.
I've got some questions via Twitter I could ask.
Anthony Carboni just texted me.
What's he doing?
I thought I was sort of done with the busy things. He's good. He's got his new show, the new Challenger.
Yeah.
Where he reviews a game, and then he has someone else from the gaming press come on the show and review his review. And usually there's some funny things that he does as well. But he texted me and said, just FYI, I'm playing Saul Batman DDS over here all day if you need more time with it. Which is, of course, is Arkham City.
Yeah. Why is he called Saul Batman
DDS? Because he's Saul Batman, the dentist.
Saul Batman DDS.
Dr. Batman. Soul bad guy from Guilty Gear is what I was thinking.
No.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, I just remembered I have to I love my job. But I don't want to take the bus to Anthony's house to play fucking Batman right now. I want to sit on my fucking couch and play Mass Effect 2. God damn it.
You already reviewed Batman. Why do you have to play Batman? Didn't you review it already?
You didn't review Batman.
No, I'm going on his show.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I have to play a little bit.
Oh, yeah, because he's reviewing it, and you have to review his review, right? I get it. Yeah.
I have to get up at 9 a.m. on Thursday to go and be on the show.
The show.
I'm a baby. Oh, no.
Fucking serious. I'm up at 6 a.m. 7 days a week working.
Why do you do that?
Because I've got a responsibility, unlike what Jonathan Holmes says I don't have.
You said night terrors. You told me you woke up at night terrors.
What?
You told me you woke up because you had night terrors.
Every single day?
Said you had... Yeah.
No?
I don't remember hearing.
I woke up the other day with night terrors.
Yeah, about the Cappy.
I had a dream about Kirby. I had a dream about, like, Kirby toys with Mario hats, and for some reason it really panicked me, and I woke up in a panic, and I didn't know why. I don't know why they were scary. And I'd also been sleeping on my left arm, and being fat, heart attacks are always on my mind. So I had this really achy left arm because all my fat had cut off the blood. So I thought, fuck, well, now I'm having a heart attack because my left arm hurts. And then I had to get up and look at the internet.
I hate that. Yeah, I guess it's your heart that hurts first, I get worried when my arm hurts too. But they're like, oh no, you feel the pain in your heart, then in your arm, and then you're dead.
Ah, that's good to know.
Yeah, you'll be dead.
But what about your neck? Does your neck also get stiff?
No, that's. They usually show that on TV because the stiff neck is a sign of stress. And it's usually like 45-year-old high-powered businessmen that get heart attacks in TV shows. So they're holding their neck all stressed, and then they grab their arm and die from a stress heart attack.
Yeah.
I get achy necks because I'm always stressing.
Yeah, you are stressing. It's too bad. But you're doing so much. I hope you're happy with your output because it's.
I had a dream the other night. This sucked. This was after I was up until like 5 o'clock writing the Skyrim preview. I had a long weekend. I slept for 16 hours last night. I was really exhausted because we did like the live stream thing. We did I wasn't there for the whole 24 hours, but I think I drank like 5 Nosses, so I was like fucking wired.
Is that like the new Four Loko? I don't know what a Nos is.
No, Nos is like a soda energy drink thing. But I mean, I poured vodka in it anyway. So, and then I got up on Sunday and had to go do the new podcast and then record a commentary. And then I got home and I was like, I am going to sleep. And I fell asleep for like half an hour. Woke up, couldn't get back to sleep. So I stayed up till 5 a.m. writing the fucking Skyrim thing. And then that night I had the worst dream as a child. The monster on the X-Files, the Fluke Man. Do you guys know that motherfucker?
The Fluke Man?
Yeah, he lived in the
Tombs?
No, he lived in like no, it's in the Host, the episode.
Okay.
He like lived in the sewers or something and bit people in the butt while they were on the toilet.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's fucking horrifying though. Horrifying monster.
Yeah. I like him.
He gave me nightmares as a kid. And then I had a dream that they announced that he was in Skyrim for no reason whatsoever. And I just got really disappointed, kind of scared, and I was like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to play that game now.
I would like it more if it was just an X-Files game. If Skyrim just swapped out all the Tolkien stuff and put X-Files stuff in there.
That's always a horrible fear, though, of things coming up the toilet to bite your anus while you're on there.
It's pretty hard to bite the anus, isn't it? Because it's kind of nestled
Not if you go in it. Not if you've got a proboscis that can go in there and then bite up the bolts.
Haven't you seen the GIF of the tarantula hiding underneath the toilet seat?
Yeah, and the thing is, living in Mississippi, where I'm like surrounded by spiders and scorpions and lizards, anything could go up my ass at any moment.
Really? There's spiders in Mississippi?
Yeah.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, I think there are.
There's all sorts of fucked up shit out here.
No, they're
all wet.
It's in the south.
There.
Dude, I come from Britain, where like the worst thing you have to worry about is maybe a dog with 3 legs. I come out here, I see dead armadillos. I've never seen a live one. I'm really upset. I love armadillos. They're awesome. They're like little tanks. And I only ever see dead ones. And I'm like, I want to see a live one.
Yeah.
My wife saw a raccoon, roadkill raccoon in the middle of the road, right? Lying there dead, lifted its head up and just blinked.
Oh.
Body completely shattered, right? Just a wreck. It was.
Oh, I thought it was fine.
No warranty like back on that thing.
That's upsetting.
It blinked them?
It was. She was really upset because it was face down, body crippled, broken, and then its little head just apparently just lifted up and just blinked almost in surprise, almost in like what happened to me.
I thought it was
everything hurts.
Jesus Christ, that's depressing.
It was quite haunting, and I never saw it. I could just imagining it was haunting.
Stop! I have a better story about animals getting hit by cars. It's a happy one.
Tell us a good one.
I was riding my bike into town once, and I saw a squirrel that was just shooting across the street, just hauling ass, and it got hit by a car, like a big truck, and it went under into the wheel well, and it sucked it up in there, and it came out the other side and just kept running into the woods.
It was fine?
It was like the Wolverine of squirrels.
I have a happier story than that, actually.
Okay.
When I was a kid, we went in the forest, and there was a little hedgehog in the forest, and it was dead and had no eyes. Oh, wait, sorry, that's not a happier one. That is a sadder one. No, there was, actually, when I was a bit older than that, when I lived in, I think I was in Crayford at the time, there was a rabbit in an alleyway, and it was lying down dead, and we kicked it over, and there was like a pile of maggots under it. That's a bad one as well.
Okay, I have one. my friends Tim and Sarah are having a baby, so congratulations to them because they're both lovely. Fuck you, Jim.
Yeah, baby.
Horrible dead animal stories.
My friend's girlfriend had an abortion and he poked it when it was in the trash can.
You told that one already.
Yeah, but it was fitting. It led on. Wow. It was what we call a comedy callback to that great gag, that great goof that everyone remembers. I told you they played Ocarina of Time and then named Link Little Abe in celebration of the abortion.
Oh yeah, you did tell us that. Wow, they really.
Like I said, I mean, you give me some money, and I won't just recycle old jokes from Podtoid, like Podtoid's past. Sorry, we can't. I keep forgetting that I can't ask for money from the listeners anymore. It is literally a crime that we've got some of them to buy the Android app.
Yeah.
Keep getting that, by the way.
A lot of people buying it. They're very nice. They're saying they're getting something out of it because they want to listen to the show, but they're not near the computer, and there you go.
And one guy did say that he was like stuck traveling somewhere, and it came up on his phone through the app, and he had something to listen to. So
I think that was Nintendan, right? He's a really good guy.
See, Nintendan's good. If you have $2 that you literally don't need for anything else ever, then by all means buy the Podtoid Android app. It helps us out. It sort of, we broke even on sort of hosting costs with it, so, and that helps. It helps Nero, if nothing else, to keep this going. So thank you for doing that. Is there anything else we want to talk about?
Let's do some
questions.
I
got questions. I got them via Twitter.
You're a professional man. I mean, I know we have fun. We make jokes about you not washing your hands after wiping your ass and smelling your hands after.
Seriously, man, be a guest of honor or work catering. Pick one.
Yeah, like I know you want to do everything, but the party was for you, dude.
It's funny because I'm imagining that party because I was there. I think I know which one you're talking about. And it really wasn't for me. You had a crowd of 20 people around you. I bumped into Tim Rogers and he didn't make eye contact with me. And then some guy from Namco Bandai.
Did you actually bump into him? Because I've got a theory he's just made of gas.
No, I didn't physically touch him, but he was wearing one of his jumpsuits.
That guy?
Yeah. He recently did a story on Kotaku about how his incredible taste in fashion is all from video games. And I was waiting for the
said that, I think my response to that on Twitter, I didn't even bother to find his Twitter. I just said, I think the decision now is whether to drown him or set him on fire. Really, that was kind of mean, but it's either that or just a very, very swift punching to all the parts of his body. Just good God, it was so bad. I was so infuriated by that.
It's a little childish of me, but he was mean to Anthony Birch, and I've always because he writes a lot, and it seems wow, he's got to be really pretentious.
Well, basically, he uses all the words that Kotaku save up in their 5-word stories, and then puts them in a novel.
Right, and I don't want to. That's his style. I don't want to hold any personal grudge against him for having a style that I don't totally get. But then he starts talking crap about Anthony Birch, and then it's all over.
Yeah, that's not called for.
You can't do that.
I don't like it when people talk crap about other people on their own websites.
Yeah.
Tim Rogers.
It's in a video too. It was oh well, Anthony Birch is doing a speech. Mr. Anthony Birch, acting like Anthony was anything other than a lovely, humble gent who's just trying to talk about video games. Yeah, exactly.
Coming from the man who called himself the Les Enfants Terribles of video game journalism, I say it was just Enfants Terribles, but by force of habit, I say Les Enfants Terribles, Liquid Snake in Metal Gear Solid. But yeah, he called himself the Enfant Terrible of video game journalism, and that's fair play to him. He can do that if he wants, but that does preclude him from being able to ever accuse anyone else of arrogance.
Right.
He can be arrogant. I respect arrogance. I respect arrogant men. I'm an arrogant man myself sometimes. But
I'm an Aragorn man.
Nice word.
Rightful heir to Gondor. I am an Aragorn man. I'm also the coconut monkey of games journalism. Do you guys remember Coconut Monkey?
No.
I do not. No, I do not. Who is that?
PC Gamer was a thing that was great in the glory days, and you'd get a demo disc, and you'd put it in your computer, and there would be a coconut monkey who would be like, "Hello, it's me, Coconut Monkey. Welcome to PC Gamer, issue number 27.
That sounds right.
Want to play a demo of Time Commando right near the beach?" And then you'd play the game. It was fucking awesome. So I want to just like that is the crown that I want to inherit, or whatever you do with crowns. I don't know.
Where?
Yeah, you should wear those crowns.
That is the pointy metal hat I would like on my head.
Oh, Max, I bought a ring.
Monkey.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you. But I got a ring that I think you'd really like. I bought it in that land I went to where there's all this gay nautical art. A lot of it being Popeye and Bluto Brutus or whatever his name
what
is.
Exactly are you doing? Because I saw.
What are they doing?
Where was this gay nautical place? What were you doing?
It is called Provincetown, Massachusetts.
Oh, you were in okay.
Yeah,
makes
heard
perfect
of it.
sense. Perfect.
Yeah, that's where I immediately started singing "Stand by Your Man" with Gender Illusionist, and there was a lot of good stuff there. And they were selling a ring that looks like a saber-toothed tiger's skull, but it's gold. And the jaw like goes over your mouth like it's biting your finger, or like your finger is a giant saber-toothed tiger tongue. It's pretty cool, man. I bought it.
Wow.
I'd like you to wear it sometime.
I think it would suit
you.
Hey,
it would truly suit you.
A ring on it, girl. If you want to,
I should, but I may have to stick around with it for a little while. But it's gonna last a while, so who knows? It may heirloom to you. I may heirloom it. We've got tons of questions coming in. If you guys want to do them,
wow, what's wrong with them? They had a week off. I'd have taken it.
They can't wait to.
Good for them. I'm glad they care. I'm glad that they care what we think, which is odd. Yahoo Games cares what I think about Batman.
So funny you should ask. Funny you should mention that.
I had a feeling you'd ask. So
yeah, Brock OC, Andreas Shadot. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce I think it's German. Just asked Podtoid, how do you feel about the industry turning into 9 out of 10 or higher, or you're a hater/villain? Meaning, if you don't give a game a 9 or a 10, then you must hate the game.
I think it's messed up. Obviously, hate out of 10, man. That's what it means. Hate. You got Cliffy B whining, which we've already talked about, and Yahoo. Even though obviously they did kind of grudgingly, I felt, admit that 8 isn't a bad score, they did frame it negatively. It was like, oh, his criticism, it tries to do too much. It's like, dude, come on, man.
Well, the way I take that is, these writers, and I'm like this too, we're all like this, I think. We have a feeling, and then we have a logical part of us too. And he put his feeling out first, which is Jim Sterling is a hater or a villain, or he's the negative one, or he's not the one who really gets this game. And then his logic had to kick in. He's like, actually, I'm a total idiot. But I already said it, so, I guess I'll just keep it because I like it. I don't know how he can.
I don't know how it goes, but
yeah, something like that.
I've had that one guy today, because I was complaining about all Ratchet and Clank because they've got a GLaDOS character in it. It's basically GLaDOS. She even makes a cake joke because that wasn't old 5 years ago.
Yeah,
and I tweeted. Sorry.
When did Portal come out? Was it 5 years ago now? I think it was.
Not 5 years ago. That's a bit excessive. It's more like. It was a good few years, though.
I think it was 4. I think it came out in 2007.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So, so anyway, I thought it's kind of cringeworthy, and I just tweeted. I was like, I wonder what made them think it was okay to put an embarrassing GLaDOS ripoff in there. And then someone tweeted back, "What made you think it was okay to do that embarrassing Batman Arkham City 8.5 review?" And I don't know, I've been accused just today of attention-seeking and deliberately trying to put it at the bottom of Metacritic. Because when you give a game 8.5, you think, oh, this is going to be at the dregs, at the very bottom of Metacritic at 8.5. There is no number lower. It's like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. And at the end of the day, to accuse anyone of trying to generate controversy by scoring a game an 8 is an insult insofar as it accuses them of having such a small ambition. It's like, I can do so much better than giving Arkham City an 8.5 if I wanted to cause trouble. How dare you accuse me of aiming so low? Of going for that low
hanging game. It's a great game. Great, yeah. I would probably give it less than 8.5. I really don't enjoy that game at all. But do you think it's because...
Holmes, you're just a weird...
I don't like exactly what everyone else likes, yep. That makes me a weirdo. Come on!
You're a special guy.
I am not. I'm no more special than the rest
fucking Rhythm Heaven! What is that shit?
It's a good game, man. It's a good game. Have you played it?
I don't get it! No, it's you tap shit and the fucking colors fly at you and you're like a blind pedophile or something. Did I make up that last part?
You totally did. You really get to synthesize yourself with the game via the rhythm. It's fun. A lot of rhythm games are fun. Batman Arkham City, they just kind of messed it up.
You get to be the Bat.
Yeah, that's a lame version of Batman.
Did you play Arkham Asylum?
Yeah. Ugh. Totally didn't enjoy it.
God, I can't. I just love that. How does no one get mad at you, but they get mad at Jim all the fucking time?
Oh, they get mad at me all the time.
They get mad at you for scoring some fight. That is the fighting game kids get mad at you, and that's
people
just
get really mad at me.
They like to fight things.
No, a lot of people get mad at me for not liking.
I think it's because Jonathan Holmes isn't as self-obsessed as I am, so he doesn't tweet it every goddamn second of the day, whereas I'm constantly retweeting anything bad anyone says about me.
Well, what's interesting about me, so we'll talk about me, I'll be self-obsessed for a second.
Please.
People think that I'm really nice, which is really nice of them to say, but they also think that means I like everything. So then I'll say that I don't like something they like Batman Arkham Asylum, which I thought was some of the worst art direction I've ever seen in a game. It's incredibly tacky and fake and gross and pandering to like the basest instincts of teenage boys. That's how it looks to me. So like that looks like crap.
I can absolutely agree with you on that, but that's one of the reasons I like it.
Well, sure. It's just a matter of taste.
I like that the art direction is kind of uniform in it.
I like uniformity. It's just uniformly awful, like a bad airbrushed picture of the mall of a... It's just terrible.
It's like, hey, what if Jim Lee was more Jim Lee?
Yeah. Ugh, it's so tacky. Oh.
It's pretty close to the art direction in Hush, though.
Hush wasn't so. If Hush was sent through like a billion Photoshop filters, so everything is like wet and
was rendered in a computer.
Yeah, but they didn't have to go. They didn't have to turn up the saturation that high, and the shine had put everything so wet. Why is everything so wet in that game? Anyway,
doing fucking push-ups. Masturbating all morning, apparently.
And why are there hugely muscular, tattooed, crazy people? Oh, I'm gonna get you. I can't even get into how lame.
No, they all sound like Steve Bloom. I'm gonna get you. I'm Steve Bloom.
It's a parody of itself.
I'm in every goddamn game now.
Yeah. Like to me, No More Heroes is making fun of games like that, and that's why I like No More Heroes.
Well, I'm playing a game with a superb art direction, so...
What's that?
Actually, this is the one this is why me being so busy is really annoying.
Yeah.
Because I have had Kirby's Return to Dreamland for about a week.
Oh, you jerk.
And I've been unable... I've been unable to sort of just sit down and play it from beginning to end. I've been having to snatch bits and pieces because the embargo for that's not up for another couple of days. So I had to put it off to do more pressing things.
And I bet you have Super Mario Land 3D too, don't you? Super Mario 3D Land, I mean.
I do not.
You don't? I guess that's out.
I will be.
People have got the press copies.
Have they? Oh, I should be getting soon. I've got all the Pokemon Rumble Blast that I can handle, though.
Oh, you're reviewing that too?
Shit? What is that?
It turned up, so I thought, fuck it, might as well. Too cheap to send out.
Sure.
Yeah. But
it's
one of those ones that weren't worth sending out. It's
sure.
It's just
I would have done it.
Sorry, what is it? What the fuck is Pokemon Rumble?
It's like really poor man's Diablo, except you also collect Pokemon along the way.
It's a homeless man's Diablo. It's a fucking Occupy Wall Street Diablo.
Yeah, you just can you even? Yeah. Different Pokemon, different things.
Okay, I heard about this yesterday. when our Tara, what does Frank do? Is he like studio assistant? Like
I'm not sure. He does like a little bit of everything.
Fucking Frank from the studio was like, "Are you gonna play that new Pokemon game?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you sort of run around and then numbers fly out of stuff, and I don't know."
I don't hate it. I like Pokemon. They're in there, so I don't hate it.
I can't talk about Rumble Blast, the new one.
Wait.
Huh?
Is the new one is Blast?
Yeah, I think
where the fuck was I?
Pokemon Rumble was on WiiWare,
yeah.
and I played it and couldn't bring myself to review it because it was just going to be such a boring review. I just couldn't write the words, and no one would have cared anyway. And Rumble I assume Blast, the sequel is much the same. Yeah.
I can't say anything.
Yeah, you won't.
But I would rather playing Kirby.
Can I just make a quick public announcement about human beings and the human race, real quick?
Yeah.
Jim Sterling, you are a nice guy.
What?
Max Scoville, you're a nice guy. Tara Long, you're a very nice woman.
Thank you.
But that doesn't mean that you have to like everything that everybody likes ever. You can still be nice to people, but harshly criticize the things that you don't like. Is that not true?
Oh, Am I a bad?
Yeah. What?
I don't like most things that people like. It's just weird. I don't care about like making them feel good and lying and saying that I like them. I just don't.
But
care.
You don't say you're disliking the people. I love people who love Batman Arkham City. I think they're great people and they have great taste. But I just don't know them. They like. Yeah, I just don't like that game.
I think people think that we enjoy hating games, which sounds self-defeating to get into a job to hate stuff.
Yeah, I really want there to be a Batman game I can love a lot.
Yeah,
and
it's not
Brave and the Bold. Brave and the Bold.
Brave and the Bold's okay. It's not that good. The NES one is the best probably for me, just because it leaves so much to the imagination. The music's really good. Brave and the Bold's fine. It's worse as a game than Arkham City. Arkham City's really well crafted. I just don't want to look at it or be there.
I could see that. It's basically, I mean, the game is essentially the Christian Bale voice, but spread across everything in the Batman universe.
Yeah, I like the Nolan movies once, and then I try to rewatch them, and I'm just bored out of my skull.
What I like about Arkham City is that it really does make you feel like Batman. Like, as far as a Batman simulator, it's really good. As a fan of the comics, I'm a little bit iffy about the designs. I like that they are. I like that they are kind of uniform. I can accept them in sort of a Hollywood way, like when they put the flame decals on Optimus Prime. I was like, okay,
I couldn't accept that. I'm sad about that.
I was like, that's super fucking dumb. But like, once I sort of accept that it's super fucking dumb, I can try and appreciate things as like a whole.
Yeah, I should do that more often. Maybe if I just accept that it's dumb, I'll enjoy it more. Or if they do, I know there's one skin whereas you can play as the Batman animated series Batman. Maybe if they reskin the whole game, I can get into it.
They've got a lot of skins. They've got a skin from Batman Beyond, but it's like Bruce Wayne when he's all burly. Yeah. And there's also there's also fucking Dark Knight Returns skin, which is actually what I really want to play.
Yeah, that looks pretty awesome. Yeah. So reskin it, guys.
But of course, they can't afford to not have online passes in the game, even though they're selling skins at $5 a pop over and over again. And here's Nightwing, kids. You know, it's
I really think they're gonna lose. The people are gonna get sick of it and start playing other games because there's so many other games out there. You don't need to be loyal to.
At the end of the day, just choose. Have the online pass or have your fucking mountain of DLC. One or the other. Don't be a dick.
Oh no, they're going to be dicks, but I think they'll
are,
for it. I think people will reject their games for it.
I'm kind of wanting to maybe hold off on that until they put out like a Game of the Year edition or something. When they
that's another thing. They complain. They say, "Oh, we don't sell enough." Because of used games, it's like, well, maybe you're not helping by releasing stuff at $60 a pop when people know that you're going to have, as Max said, a Game of the Year edition later.
Yeah. I waited. Okay, they just put out the Red Dead Redemption Game of the Year version a year and like 8 months after the regular one came out. No, year and a half, solid year and a half. And they released it at a time when there are all these new games coming out. So great job on that. Like I was interested I'm cool, thanks. I mean, I'll play Batman Arkham City. It's going to be awesome, but like, I don't know where to pre-order it from because everywhere you pre-order it from gives you something different. We blatantly misreported it on one of the pre-order bonuses, and then I looked at a long fucking list of all the different places. Oh, if you pre-order from here, you get a special mini game where you have to fucking hold Ra's al Ghul's bathrobe while he gets out of the fucking Lazarus pit. Or, oh, here's one where you're fucking Robin and you have a stick and a hoodie.
Yeah, I feel like it reminds me of the alternate covers for #1 issues of comics in the 90s, which eventually totally backfired on them in the long run. But at least those you could trade with your friends. This stuff you can't even trade the DLC. You just have it, and then your friends don't, and then you have to buy the stuff they have later to try to keep up with them. It's an ugly practice.
I like having so many choices. I like having freedom, not that many choices. Like when I go to a restaurant and they've got like, you can have the hot dog, the cheeseburger, the chicken, and the milkshake. I'm like, I'll have that one, and there we go. That's that.
Those are the only choices you need for food.
Yeah,
anyway.
The chicken. Yeah.
The hot dog.
Yeah, go to In-N-Out. They've got a #1, a #2, a #3. I go to fucking Burger King and they've got like 16 different chapters to.
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
They've got like 4 different chicken sandwiches now.
Yeah, it's overwhelming, and I end up getting the same thing every time anyway. So it's just like, it's silly. I don't feel like I'm making a choice. I feel like I'm like panicking at the last minute because I'm fucking sandwiches. So the point of the matter is, they should have less DLC for Batman.
Yeah, and just give all that stuff away. Make it a better game. Yeah.
But it's just, I mean, I get that, and then I see these pity parties that developers throw for themselves. As, we don't make enough money because of the used sales. Maybe and it's like, they do it for them. They've done it to themselves.
Yeah. Maybe I'm totally bananas here, but like, if you want people to buy your game when it first comes out, maybe have one pre-order bonus that's really cool for like everywhere, and then have I don't know, maybe have like early adopter DLC. So there's actually like an incentive to buy it early on.
Some sort of fucking reward rather than take stuff away and inconvenience new customers with fucking codes and bullshit and confusing pre-ordered stuff all over the place. It's just alienating both used and new customers isn't going to help anybody. And so I mean, we already know that Uncharted 3, which they claimed they acted like Uncharted 3 of all games without an online pass would make no money. Uncharted 3 that had just recently signed a big Subway promo deal and has fucking Nathan Drake slurping on a fucking Coke. It's like, how dare you pretend that? And we know that Uncharted 3 is going to have a load of multiplayer DLC lined up.
Yeah, there's a $25 pass for it or something.
Fucking money, yeah. So it's just, don't come to me, cap in hand, like Oliver fucking Twist going, please sir, I want some more, because I do look like Mr. Bumble, and I will go, more.
Is that how Mr. Bumble talks? I think it'll backfire. I think people will, if they keep it up, Uncharted 4 is going to suffer for it. People aren't going to just stay loyal because they're brand loyal to Uncharted right now. They love the character, they love the writing, they're attached to those virtual people, but they'll learn to not be attached to them pretty quickly and attached to something else if they keep this up.
It's an inevitability, but it's potential. It's definitely
well, with a market this competitive, I mean, and what does Uncharted do that's really that special that someone else couldn't do?
The Subway sandwiches. You get the Subway sandwiches.
Nathan Drake cooks a mean Subway melt.
Nathan Drake lost so many pounds just doing the lean diet thing at Subway.
That would have been good if they did a Donut Drake reference in Subway.
How about this? Yeah, how about Jared from Subway as like a multiplayer character? You want to do a funny cross promotion there?
I would not be surprised if that happens. That could happen.
If that actually happens, I'm fucking stoked. I'm down with that all the way.
This kind of shit just makes me think of what led up to the video game crash of the 80s. Of just this pure overload. It's too much, and they act like it's GameStop's fault all the time. But it's like compared to some of the stuff Electronic Arts has done over the years, GameStop pushing used sales isn't so bad. GameStop didn't buy Bullfrog and then ruin it and close it and cut jobs. EA didn't cause the EA spouse thing or GameStop didn't cause the EA spouse thing where, you know, people were overworked and crunch periods was excessive and families' lives were wrecked pretty much. And GameStop hasn't sort of just been that big of a cunt.
No.
So
does GameStop allow you to buy a used game and then return it within 7 days for another used game of the same price and just do that for the rest of your life?
I can't remember the exact policies.
I'm pretty sure you can do that. Yeah, I did that for a little while when I was poor.
But used games have been very helpful to put. I mean, we've talked about all this before. I don't want to go over it, but the point I want to make is just that game publishers themselves have dug so much of the hole that they're in right now, and they want to blame other people, and I just think that's grotesque.
Yeah, me too. I wonder if GameStop, do you think they made a deal with, is it for Batman? Is the Catwoman code that you can...
People say they have. People say that they bought, like, they gave money to Warner Brothers to put those codes in used copies.
We should ask someone. We should do some journalism.
Well,
when you're busy with... Just on the side.
But that's it, like, they complain about GameStop, so work out a deal with GameStop. Don't pass your problems on to the consumers.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's such a big fuck you.
I concur. Do you guys want questions? Because they're tweeting them at me.
Oh, let's make them quick.
Okay. Will Jim Sterling legally change his name to Dr. Coctopus? Asks.
I may do. That is the name I gave myself after Yahoo called me a villain for my hate 0.5. Also based on the fact that I've got a new haircut, which is almost kind of bowlish. I don't really like it. They cut it wrong. I was too tired to
I'm sure you look cute. Come on.
I got this bowl thing going on. I look like it in this week's Jimquisition. I've also bought new glasses, like aviators, black framed aviators with a red frame, so it's black and red, like the visual style I've got going on. But they look a bit like goggles now. So I've got this bowl-like hair, goggles, and I am fat. I basically already look like Dr. Octopus now. And
sounds great.
After I was called a villain by Yahoo, Dr. Coctopus seemed like the logical step. I won't legally change my name to it, but if I do embark on a life of high crime, then that will be my moniker.
I can't wait. I'll join you as a sidekick. I'll be
sexual alligator. It's Doc Cock and the sexual alligator.
And I'll always crawl around on all fours. Stick
They're not banging. That's what we would have to keep making sure everyone. We're not banging just because I'm called Doc Cock and he is the sexual. We're not banging.
No, we're not.
Give us all the money. We're not banging.
Yeah, you guys doing a little stuff on the side, like whatever, you know?
No. Just, you mean
absolutely
like
not even a hand job.
Not even watching each other.
No, not even watching it.
No, not really.
I walked in once when he had a lady. It was a lady over. So, but apart from that,
straight, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen his arse and balls pistoning into someone for a split second, and then obviously I walked away and read the Holy Bible.
Yeah, slowly walked away. Flint Mech Ben Sawyer asks Tara, was Pokemon Snap really that bad? It looked to me like you started to enjoy it. You even said Pikachu is cute. That was on the Extra Life stream over the weekend, where you played Pokemon Snap for how long, Tara?
Little over an hour. I was supposed to play for 2 hours, but then they had to have somebody come in and play fighting games.
Oh,
which is stupid, but
violent, awful boys.
Yeah,
coming in.
I've played Pokemon Snap for many hours in a row and had a good time of it.
It was actually pretty fun. I have to say though, for a game that came out in 1999, it really does not look good.
No, N64 games look bad. Yeah, N64 is just a sad place. Yeah.
Just the level of detail in the game though.
Well, bear in mind,
not even necessarily the graphics.
You're playing it on a big HD TV too.
Yeah, that hurts.
Yeah, but what I mean is so you take pictures of animals and stuff, but there's only like one Pokemon, maybe every it's hard to say how far you travel in a fictional game, but every 30 seconds or so, maybe 20 or 30 seconds.
There's hidden ones you can find.
You're in the Safari Zone.
Rocks and apples.
I've played a few different levels though.
You throw the volcanoes. I mean, the apples at the volcano and the Charmanders come out.
He's right.
Probably. I never actually played that game.
It's pretty good, man.
I didn't have it.
Yeah, it's like kind of like an on-rail shooter, except with photography and how well you frame your shot.
I wish it was an actual shooter.
So it's like the beginning of it's like Dead Rising.
It's a lot like Dead Rising, actually.
It's exactly like that.
Yeah, which I liked. I liked Dead Rising 1 more than 2 in part because of the camera stuff. Should I do another question?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's do a couple. People want to know if Kirby... This is Spaceman Spiff, otherwise known as Connor Olmstead. He wants to know if Kirby sucked up each of you guys. What would his new powers be? So if he sucked up you, Jim Sterling, what would his power be?
Sunglasses!
Yes, he would have the power of sunglasses. I don't know. I don't know if I've got a talent. He can write fast, I guess, and then have Tony Fox correct all his mistakes later.
It would be a stream of consciousness verbal rant slash critique, don't you think?
He could do Voldemort impressions.
Yep. Yeah, he could sculpt.
He doesn't have a nose already.
He might have a... I'm blanking on his name. The singer for Rush. Limmy Lips. Kippy... Gummy Jim. What's his name again? Geddy Lee, that's it.
Limmy Lips. You kind of...
I have to start to sound it out, and then it comes to me. Yeah, Geddy Lee. Oh, thanks, Jim.
I think my superpower would be sarcasm.
Yeah, that would be good. A biting.
Were you being serious there? Or?
She is quite sarcastic.
That's how good I am.
She is very good. You don't know if she's being sarcastic when she's talking about whether she's sarcastic or not.
I've fallen into a sarcasm.
That was good. I guess yours would be wordplay, right, Max? Or thinking of...
if Kirby ate me, he'd look like a big pink hot dog, and he'd get really long and like stretched out, and he'd have to he'd move like one of those cactus things from Super Mario Land.
Brothers?
Yeah, or like those ducks that stack up in Zelda sometimes. And they just woggle around. He'd just be like, but he'd be like in one piece, like a big like long wiggly, like a big Tootsie Roll or something.
Yeah, that's like the Nephilim in El Shaddai. You should check that out. I guess my power would be gentle rubs. Yeah, yeah, just a gentle one, not too rough.
Like Kirby would give gentle rubs to people.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I think if you're talking actual Kirby powers, he would with you he'd like get little hearts that shot out of him, and it would make enemies turn into friends.
Aww. I like friends a lot. I like friendship a lot. So
you're so cute. Oh my God.
That's nice of you to say.
That's like a way that I'd make fun of you.
Come to life.
Someone wanted to know when Jim decided to make Podtoid his full-time job and why I prefer it being more of a side job. I can answer that real quick. Well, I did get a master's degree in social work before I started working in Podtoid, so it felt a little stupid to throw away all of that investment. And I do enjoy social work a lot and health insurance, which you don't always get as a blogger. So there's a lot of practical reasons, and I enjoy it. Maybe you guys have health insurance. I don't know what everyone else is like, but I didn't.
No, Max. I could just hear Max laughing in the background at the notion of health insurance, and then I had.
Yeah. I needed to have it. You know, let's say I have kids someday, and then they don't have health insurance anyway. So
I will say is I'm keeping my British citizenship even when I become naturalized here. I'm going to dual wield because if I get cancer, I'm hopping on a plane back to London.
That makes sense. And when did you were working at the taxi distributor? You distributed taxis?
Yeah. Shithole.
And then you just decided to do Podtoid full time after that, right?
Well, basically, I moved to the States, and I'm like, I could, as an immigrant with no formal education, I could probably get a job flipping burgers, and then never do Destructoid again. So it was basically it was an either or thing. It was like, dude, do I work in like an immigrant's wage, even though I've become quite well known in the game industry? And it was like, well, it's time to negotiate. So I didn't want to stop writing about video games, and I didn't want to quit being the reviews editor. So we worked something out.
And it wasn't just Podtoid. You've worked and still do freelance a ton. I mean, the people don't realize that oftentimes if you have a family, particularly, you can't really just work it.
I have up to 6. I have up to 6 jobs.
Yeah,
I think I'm down to 3 at the moment. I've had up to 6, but I've scaled back a bit just because some other jobs have made a bit more money, and then I need some time, which is always nice.
But you're leaving behind such a legacy. I think it's so great when I've said this before. When the aliens come down, they're going to know about Jim Sterling when they go back on the internet and assess what was going on. There's just too much of you out there, and too much of it is too good to be ignored.
I like Kirby.
I like Kirby a lot. He's the star of the show.
He's fun.
And that question was from Lord Landshark. I forgot to mention that. Thank you, Lord Landshark. Balch wants us to know if we've heard any scuttlebutt on the Wii U and what developers have been saying about it. There's that rumor that it sucks, and then I've also heard more official word that it's good. But, in a way, it's easier to believe the rumors because, of course, the developers are going to say it's good because they want you to buy their game. It's easier to be suspicious. But I played it, and I thought it was great. I thought that everything worked fine.
I don't know. I still refuse to accept you played it.
I really did, and it worked very well.
You messed around with a little tech demo thing.
No, there were tech demos, but there were some real games too. And the transfer from the screen to the from the TV screen to the controller screen was flawless. And
the trouble is, here's the trouble, and it's the same trouble the 3DS has had. Things are going to change real soon. We're going to have the new PS3 to look at. Well, sorry, the new PlayStation. We're going to have a new Xbox. People are talking about it. People are sick of this generation now. The Wii U is just too little too late. It's simple as. And
I think it's as simple. Are there a sizable amount of men? It's mostly, I think, for men.
I got a sizable amount of men around here.
Are there a lot of men who were bachelors and played video games in their bedroom and played them all they wanted? Now they're married. Now they have to share the television. Now their wife is saying, I don't want you having Xbox in the man cave or in the bedroom. We're going to have one video game system for the family, and it's going to be on the TV. Are there men who want to be able to take their game off the TV and put it on the controller?
No, that's not.
There's not.
Guess what?
Because that's what they want.
Guess what? The PS Vita can do the same thing, I think. So
well, it can if you buy a $250 PS Vita and a $200 PlayStation 3.
The thing is, people have had the opportunity to get PS3 for years now. That's the thing, and the Wii U is coming so late.
Yeah, or early, depending on.
And another thing is women. I guess if we're going to go by the stereotypical sort of thing that Nintendo's pushing. Women wanting to watch TV while the men play games on a handheld thing isn't a good dynamic, because I can say from personal experience that other halves don't like it when you're playing around with a little gaming device when they're trying to either watch TV or talk at you and tell you things that you don't want to be listening to because you're too busy playing Mario. It doesn't... I don't see that being that big a selling point, because it's considerably ruder to play on a little device like that around people. So...
interesting. I'm not sure. I mean, my wife will be on the computer while I'm on TV, while I'm watching TV, or I am on TV, just watching myself, just thinking about how famous I am, just watching myself on TV. Or and then we'll switch off, and I don't feel like that's particularly rude. So that might work in my particular dynamic. But I could see how for a lot of people it wouldn't.
I mean, we'll see. At the end of the day,
fucking stupid girlfriend made me get all the Legos off the coffee table to fucking eat dinner last night. It was fucking bullshit. She's like, can you stop? And I'm like, I'm almost done with my Forbidden Fortress. Seriously, I've got some great pirates.
She really likes you. I think that's good.
She puts up with so much shit.
Yeah, well, you're an enjoyable guy. Do we want to answer one about Batman villains? Which ones would we be?
Let's make that the last one.
Okay, Ballistic Robot wants to know, if you were all Batman villains, what would your names be, and what kind of superpowers, crimes, themes would you have?
Does he mean existing ones?
This is hard.
I think he does mean... I think you can go either way on that. I think you could kind of just go for it.
I'd be the fucking
Mystery Girl? Mystery Girl was good. Mystery Woman or Mystery Girl?
I'd be Man-Bat, because he's like a werewolf of the skies.
Yeah, Man-Bat is incredible.
Or else I'd just be that werewolf from that one episode with the werewolves.
Did you see Batman and Superman fought the werewolves and the vampires? Oh, what? Somebody wanted comic recommendations too. Yeah, there was a good comic series.
Oh, yeah.
Batman, Superman versus werewolf and vampire. It was good. Batman, Superman versus Alien versus Predator. I have that too.
Batman versus Judge Dredd, not so good. Really weird.
No, I didn't enjoy it. That's really what I weird. Think that's what I think Arkham City's art style looks like. Everyone's just shining. Wet.
If Simon you like Arkham City, it's Simon Bosley. Like every page is like a bunch of trading cards.
Why don't they just get a towel? Just dry off. Just dry off before you show up.
There is a pretty cool part where, for absolutely no reason other than fan service, Judge Anderson is just in her underpants.
Yeah,
she's like still wearing her gauntlets, and she's like, "Oh no, it's Judge Death. Where are my pants?"
Yeah, then she gets dressed after that. I remember that. So you would be who now, Max? Who'd you say you would be? You would be Man-Bat. I'm sorry, I forgot already. Tara, who would you be?
So we have to pick existing villains?
Or you can make up one if you're feeling creative.
I guess Harley Quinn. Or Catwoman is kind of cool, though. I kind of have a thing for Catwoman, except for if you discount the awful movies.
Huh? What'd you say, Max?
The one without the red hair. I keep this.
The guy said I couldn't be Poison Ivy. He said I could.
She's checking her Twitter as well. Yeah, did you know Harley Quinn is Jewish? Kind of a
You don't say, Mr. J. I never would have guessed that.
Yeah, she says Meshuggah and stuff. It's good. How about you, Jim? Who would you be?
Well, everyone's just gonna say Penguin, so.
No, I would have never thought that.
It.
No way.
Screw it.
I actually hadn't thought of that.
Actually, my favourite Batman villain is always the Scarecrow, so I would go with him, which is actually the direct opposite of me physically, so fuck it.
Like, if we were to actually do costumes, Holmes, you'd probably be Bane or Killer Croc. I would probably be stuck with Scarecrow. Mm-hmm. Jim, you could be the ventriloquist. That would be interesting. What if you were like? What if you dressed up like giant Scarface and then you had like a puppet of like the ventriloquist?
I could just roll around in the mud and be Clayface.
Yeah, I'd like to be Clayface. That's who I would pick. There was one episode that was directed by a Japanese animation team of the old Batman animated series, season 4. When they did the art redirection, I know a lot of people didn't like that, but I really loved it too. There's an episode where Robin falls in love with a young girl, and then she turns out to be like a leave-in, like leave-ins from Clayface, like a Clayface of Scraps.
So she's like Ink from Batman Beyond, sort of.
But more awesome, because she doesn't know. She's like, I don't know where I am. There's a big man after me, and Robin's trying to save her and stuff. She's like, help me.
I remember that episode. That was so.
Like, get inside my body. It's like
that makes perfect sense. That's directed by the Japanese guys.
Brilliant stuff, man. It's one of my favorite episodes. And do we have any comics recommendations?
Yeah, there were actually two that I left out from. I did a little recommendation on last Friday's episode of the Arkham City episode of our show, which had Jim's review. I fired off The Dark Knight Returns, Batman Year One, Hush, Gotham by Gaslight, which is where it's in the.
That's Mike Mignola, right?
Yeah, the guy
he's really good. Yeah, I love that guy.
I also wanted to recommend. What's it called? Superman Red Sun, which is more Superman comic, but it's basically what if Superman was a communist and his space shuttle had crashed in Russia and he'd been raised by like communist farm workers. Batman's in that, and he basically just looks like Batman, except he's fighting the Soviet government and wears a hat with little ears on it.
Yeah, I love
kind
that.
Of adorable.
The Russian furry hat ears. Yep. Yeah. That's good stuff.
It's because that's my recommendation for Batman. The last Batman comic I read that was I haven't read that. I've read mostly standalone Batman like collections and stuff. There was one they did around the time Dark Knight came out, which was about a dude who was the Joker's sidekick, basically, or like one of his henchmen.
Okay.
And I think it was just called Joker. but it was.
I remember that. Yeah, the art was pretty intense, wasn't it?
It was.
A lot of heavy inks and stuff.
Yeah, it was like the Dark Knight Joker. Like he had the scars on his face and stuff. And the Riddler showed up, and he was like out of the Fast and the Furious. He showed up in a fucking like rice rocket with question marks all over it and like spinners, and was just like, "Hey, what's up?" And the Killer Croc was basically just Ving Rhames with like a skin condition. And
wasn't this written by somebody really weird who normally didn't write comics? I think it was. Maybe. They just showed up and wrote it, like, Pamela Anderson wrote it or something. It was really weird. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go on.
Also, The Killing Joke by Alan Moore is really, really cool. And it's short, and it's basically the Joker being a huge fucking asshole. If you like Batman, check out Daredevil, especially Frank Miller's run on Daredevil. The Born Again miniseries is like probably one of my favorite superhero comics ever. It's Daredevil is the Batman of the Marvel Universe. Sort of a little bit more complex character, I think. But
he's like I would say Batman is like Daredevil and Captain America together, kind of. So if you just take all of the I am an insane person wearing like a slightly cartoonish outfit with pointy ears, and I'm just going to beat up strangers.
I like the scale that they fight on, though. Like, I like that Batman is like, hey, a carjacking, I'm going to fucking stop that. Or like, oh, a bank robbery, that's cool. When he goes up in a space station with Superman and Hawkman, and they're like, oh yeah, this guy who looks like an asteroid has it for his head wants to blow up our entire universe. You, Batman, what do you suggest we do? And he's like, he's the greatest detective, but really that's not the coolest superpower when you're up with, like, the Green Lantern and
Martian Manhunter. Yeah. But he still manages to keep them all. In those situations, I see Batman as being kind of the moral compass for all these people that are way more powerful than normal.
I think he's just there to make Superman not get a big head, because Batman
all of them.
Sure.
We're still talking about comic books. I feel bad. Yeah, we're talking about it I feel bad. We're talking about it too long. Poor Tara and Jim don't really read comics, so they're like...
I've been trying to get into them. I want to get into them. I was drawn to the Secret Six ones, so
I'll
go into them. I'll pick them up when
I'll send you... I'm going to send you a list. I told you I did this last time, Jim, but pretty much everything I just listed off, but I will write it down for you and email it to you.
So please do, yeah.
Can I do some recommendations real quick? I'll be promised.
Sure. I'll CC you. I'll make an email.
But I want to do my recommendation.
Do it.
Okay. I'm going to do it quick. Did you guys read Old Man Logan?
I want to.
It's good. It's Gran Torino meets Wolverine. And it's a little corny, but in a way that you can tell they're aware of it. So, when they go a little bit too far, it's keeps it light because it's really, really heavy. It's post-apocalyptic, and Hulk's children just eat people. Spider-Man's granddaughter is not a very nice person. There's a lot of decapitations. Red Skull is president of the United States. So there's a lot of stuff there, but Wolverine basically he's become a pacifist because of something that I won't give away. And that tension.
So it's
really
the Dark Knight Returns, but with Batman or with Wolverine.
But no, it's much more Gran Torino-ish. You know how did you see Gran Torino and how grumpy he is? And how he wants to beat up people because he's a violent guy deep down, but he doesn't do it. I won't do it.
Why would Wolverine ever stop being a motherfucker?
It's a pretty good reason. Okay. And then, of course... So, yeah, it's good stuff. And the art is amazing. The art is really, really well done. Steve McNiven.
There's a Spider-Man Reign, which is...
Oh, yeah. I bought that.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's super weird. It's interesting, though. That's Spider-Man also quit being a superhero in that, right? Yeah, I really like the art. That was a artist. I can't remember his name, but he's very good. I like Hellboy. Hellboy's been really good lately. I'd keep reading it if you haven't read it in a while. Spoilers, he died, and now he's going to hell.
They're still doing Hellboy?
Yeah, they still do it. They do like 3 issues a year, so no one can keep up with it or keep track.
Yeah, that's always been such a weird comic to follow. Like, I picked up the first 2 graphic novels, and they're like weird fairy tales, and then I downloaded a bunch of like one hit issues that I didn't want to go try and track down, and it's just like they'll write 4 issues, that are sort of connected, and then they'll have like one issue that's kind of connected, and then they'll have another 4 issues, and they'll be like, "Did you read that one issue we just did? Because this is the sequel to it, not the 4 issues before that." And you're like, "Fuck, what's going on?"
Yeah.
Fairy tales, damn it.
Yeah. It's all in the collections. That's where they make their money. Is they collect them all later and put them in bookstores and sell it for $18. So without that, they'd be poor. And I could do more, but we've already gone on for too long. I said I'd give myself 3 minutes, and that's it. Hellboy and Old Man Logan. It's good. Oh, and the new Action Comics by Grant Morrison, but I talked about that already. That's good too. And that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Feel I had to let a big breath after that.
I appreciate it.
Comics. I wish I could be into them, but as I've said before, it's just so complex now. So many continuities and realities, and
I just buy them for the art a lot of the time too. The art's good. You like artwork? I do.
I really like the whole 52 rebooted thing because I've been needing something to masturbate to lately. You know.
In case you didn't know, Jim, there was quite a controversy that the ladies in the reboot of 52,
they're all sluts.
Yeah,
slut comics. No longer is it Detective Comics. It's 52 Detective Comics because they had sex with 52 detectives because they all sluts. Fucking DC Comics.
Yeah, it's pretty tacky. It's in pretty poor taste.
Dirty Chicks Comics. Ugh. Fucking stupid.
Oh, and people want us. Vlad Zhao wants us to bring back Willem Dafoe sometime.
Well, that's not happening this week.
Not this week. Maybe next week though.
Tired and
me too.
Starving, and
it's dinner time.
It's late, and I got so much I need to. God, why haven't I beaten Ratchet and Clank yet?
Oh, I feel so bad for you, Jim. I'll review that Pokemon thing if you want, man. Send it to me. I'll do it. Think about it. No pressure. I'll review it. I'll give it a 5. I can give it a 5 right now if you want.
All right, then. Okay, thank you all for listening, as usual. I am the guy that did some of it, and then some other people did it, and I will thank them, Jonathan Holmes and Tara Long and Max Scoville. You can catch Max and Tara every Monday, Wednesday, Friday on the Destructoid Show via Revolution 3 and YouTube. Jonathan Holmes, yes, that's their name. Call them, be formal and polite. Jonathan Holmes has a show every Tuesday talking to women about video games. You should check that out. You can see my usual shit at escapistmagazine.com and on Destructoid. Got reviews, all sorts of reviews. Got Ratchet & Clank All For One coming up. Got Payday the Heist coming up. Got Battlefield 3 coming very soon. So,
and then Kirby too? How are you going to do all that?
Easy. That's how. Because my middle name is Quick Reviewing Guy.
It's a long name.
Damn right. Yeah. I have a long arsehole.
Like long vertically here.
It just flops out like a hyena's clitoris.
Oh, like one of those. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's a horrible thing to say.
Wow.
Oh dear. God, you give us that $1,000, my hyena's clit arsehole will be in the film. Don't do that. Don't give us money ever. Or buy the Android app though. $2 for this again. Just listen to it twice and pretend you're getting your money's worth. And we will see you.
It's like pretend dollars.
Well, oh yeah, follow us on Twitter. Might as well.
Oh yeah.
At Jim Sterling, at Tron Knott, at Max Scoville, at Tara Longest,
and at Podtoid too. Yeah. Podtoid.
What? Oh yeah, we have that. No one updates it because I can't be fucked. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.